guys ready to play some
Yeet.
D&D tonight?
Fuck yeah.
Well,
You
I
know, I'm
wouldn't
not
say
sure.
no.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's start out with a quick recap of the shenanigans, the ridiculousness that was our last session.
Oh God.
So yeah, the four of you entered the fight club, the Saltmarsh Fight Club, and Theo squared off against a pseudo monk fella by the name of Malwyn and just punished him. Like, I think you knocked him out in the first round.
It was one punch.
Yeah, one punch.
punch.
Yep. Masterfully dealt with him. Byron went up against Bear, and first round, I think, was kind of a draw, if I remember correctly. You
We
guys
had the exact same
roll. Yeah. So it went into the second round, and you basically one-shotted him with a knife, or I don't know if you used your knife or your sword or whatever, but you stabbed him in the neck and dropped him like a sack of
Like
dead.
a dead guy.
Yeah, like a dead guy. Thank you. I was gonna say a sack of
Assassination
potatoes,
technique.
but then I was like, I don't know. I don't think they grow potatoes in Saltmarsh. But then let's see. After that, then it was Irin and Clark squared off, and Clark, I think, knocked you out in the first round.
Yep. First one hit.
Yep, one hit shot went down, and Rhunar, of course, squaring off against the current champion Dox, and rolled a natural 20 to just destroy him, and the whole place kind of blew up after that. Some interesting things happened during the bouts. I think Theo and Rhunar, I think, both noticed the familiar, although much better looking face of Zolek working his way amongst the crowd, seeming to have the time of his life at this brawl. Theo had made contact with Kreb Schenker, had inquired about trying to track down who had murdered Drallion. Kreb seemed very resistant to having that conversation with you, and questioned his ability to trust you. At that point, you offered to try to make him trust you through doing something for him, or to try to earn his trust, I should say. And he suggested that you think about meeting him at midday the following day to have that conversation. He says that he might have a job for you. Rhunar had made contact with Tarn to kind of touch base, learned a little bit about their job at the Abbey. They had wrapped up that job. He had also provided you, Rhunar, with some information about a potential job possibility with the mine that was experiencing some troubles, and that he and his crew, the Red Crows, were heading out of town and were unable to take that job. I'm trying to think if there was anything else during the fight. Oh, Tarn had also sort of talked with you a little bit about the Drallion murder. At the end of the fights, the four of you decided that the next step was to plan and execute an infiltration operation into the Drallion estate under the darkness of night, with the idea that Sophia Drallion, Aubrich's sister, who had recently arrived from Gradzul, seemed a little standoffish, and actually, when thinking about it, you had decided that she might have quite a bit to gain by all of this happening, and that you didn't quite trust her. So you made your way to the Drallion estate and executed this plan whereby Byron would sneak into the estate and do some reconnaissance work, while the three of you waited outside for his signal, and that he would give you a signal of waving a torch that would basically cue you to the fact that he was coming out of the second-story window that he had slipped into, right above a pair of guards at the back entrance to the estate. Somewhat heavy security. There's about 6 guards that you've seen around the exterior perimeter. And you watched Theo did a great job of distracting one of the guards by drawing him out into the field and having a brief encounter with him, after which the guard made his way back to his post with his partner underneath the window. But Byron snuck his way into the building and did some quick exploration, explored a couple of the rooms inside the second story of this building, and at this point, why doesn't everybody roll a perception check, and Byron roll a stealth check for me.
Perception.
Nice.
I have seen some things okayish.
Yeah.
Someone sees a lot.
Gotta make up for all those shit rolls I had last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Theo, Irin, and Rhunar. It's been probably, I would say, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, since Byron had slipped through the window. And as you're hunkered down at your various locations, let me ask this real quick. Theo, where your token is? Is that kind of where you were thinking you'd be?
No, because I believe the guard kind of rousted me out.
Okay.
So Theo will have circled back around.
Okay.
And come back around the hedge to be over by Rhunar Day.
Okay. So I'm not 100% sure if Irin, where you're at, you can see this or not, but if you do have a view on that window from your position, the three of you see the quick movement of Byron as he slips out of the window and dangles just below the window sill and directly overhead of the two guards that are standing at the back door having a conversation. There's no suggestion that they are aware of his presence, but he's literally about 6 to 8 feet above them.
Very quickly, Theo is going to pull out a couple of iron pitons, cast, do some things with his hands, and suddenly there's an extra set of, faintly ghostly mage hands, if you will, that then will take the pitons out 30 feet into the middle of that field and start banging them together.
Okay.
So right about there.
So you're using mage hand?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you're essentially trying to distract, maybe draw them away from the from their post. Roll. Let's see how persuasive this is. Roll a persuasion check.
Ooh.
I hope it is very persuasive. I am a very persuasive man.
It's extremely persuasive.
Unbelievable.
Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah.
Okay, so as this is happening, you hear the clanking of these pitons being bashed together, and one of the guards starts to make his way over here. I'd like Rhunar and Theo to make a stealth check. He's now on high alert.
If only I had a... What's the sound from Metal Gear?
Yep.
One of those.
Oh no, Rhunar.
Oh no.
You just whip your dick out now. Just start fucking the ground.
It will distract them. I mean, that's...
As he's walking by, he takes notice. He looks... Actually, no, he doesn't. I rolled very poorly on his...
Wow,
his
you did.
perception check. So he passes right by you and starts to make his way out into the field. At this point, Let's see. What did you roll, Byron, for your stealth? A 19? Okay.
19, yep.
Give me a second here. I'm going to... So what the three of you don't know, and only Byron knows this, but as he was making his way out of the room and towards the window, he had roused the suspicion of one of the guards inside the building. So I'm going to just do a quick check for him to see if he... Because he has now entered the building, or the room that you're dangling out of. So let me see here. I'll roll a perception check for him. Against a 19 stealth. Luckily, there's a table in between him and the window, so he doesn't see the hooks on the grappling hook. But let's see if he gets anything out of this versus a 19. Okay, he does not come to the window, and actually you see the flicker of his torchlight because he's holding a torch as he walks into the room, and he scans the room, and then he leaves the room, and you see the room go dark again.
Excellent.
He somehow hired the best guard we've ever run into.
How far below me is the other guard?
He's about 6 feet below you, I would say.
Oh shit. Oh man. And how far between the building and the fence?
It is, I would say, probably horizontal from the foundation of the building to the fence is probably 8 feet.
Okay. You know, I think I'll pull myself back up into the room.
Okay.
And then I will move over to the window on this side of the building.
Okay.
With the grappling hook. I'll take the grappling hook with me as well.
All right.
And then I will I'll stash the grappling hook, and I'll look out the window and see if I see anyone.
Okay, roll a perception check for me. All right, nice. No, you do not see anybody. You kind of poke your head out slowly, and you look. What you see below you is the rooftop of. It's like the window drops down to a rooftop. That's just the one-story part of the building, and then so there's clay shingles on top of that rooftop on the north side of the mansion.
Okay. And is that about level with the top of the fence?
Yeah, it might be slightly higher than the fence.
Okay. Oh, that's really good news. I'm gonna do the fingertip thing where I like lean up. I'm gonna get out the window, lower myself so that I'm hanging from my fingertips, and just lightly drop onto that roof.
Okay.
Stealthily as I possibly can.
All right, roll a stealth check. Meanwhile, as you're doing that, this guard is out here looking for the source of the clanging, and he let's see, what does he do for perception to find it?
Theo's going to kind of keep just moving it around in the grass.
Yeah, he's having trouble finding it, and eventually he kind of gives up and starts walking back.
What do I have to roll with Mage Hand to throw the python at his head?
That's a great question. Can you make an attack roll with a Mage Hand?
You cannot technically attack through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could throw it in a direction.
I'd like to throw it in his direction.
Yeah, you can throw it in his direction.
I guess that's just a dexterity roll?
Yeah, just roll a dexterity, and whatever the result is will give us an idea of how close you get it to him. All right.
Hope so.
Yeah, so it's kind of right in the middle. You kind of pitch it into the field off to the north, and he kind of turns around at that point and goes and checks it out. And you watch as he reaches down and grabs these pythons, or one of them. He doesn't find them both, but he finds one of them.
Yeah, Mage Handing that other one back to me. I need that.
He's pretty confused, but all right. So Byron, just barely. You drop down onto the clay shingles of the first floor rooftop, and some of the shingles kind of shift underneath you, and you can know. I mean, you notice the sound, but you just kind of hunker down and wait for a second. You wait. You don't think anybody's heard you.
I'm at this point. I'm going to just full speed try and run and jump over the fence to the north,
Okay.
out into the field.
All right. Yeah. Just do an acrobatics check for me. Nice. Yeah, you jump off and are able to make it over the fence, no problem. This guard has since started to move back towards the structure and is back at his post at this point. And you're probably, Byron, you're probably like over in this area. Yeah, like right about there.
Cool. And then at this point, I will just go straight north for a little bit until I feel like I'm far enough away and safe enough away to make my way back to the path.
Okay.
And then
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
then I'll just walk by like this way.
Okay.
And I'll have taken my hood down.
All right. Trying to look nonchalant as you walk past.
Yep.
There's 2 guards that you'll be walking past right here in front of the building. FYI.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. You stroll on by. They kind of give you a look, but they're also super tired at this point. It's probably like 4:30 in the morning by now. And they don't give you any trouble or anything. The alarm has not been raised due to your stealthiness.
All right, so yeah, then I'll just meet up with everyone else.
Okay.
I'm assuming, well, I'm not going to assume anything. I will cut into the field and meet up with, is it Rhunar right here?
No, that's
Irin.
That's Irin.
That's Irin. Dang it, I always get your guys' templates mixed up.
I'm just gonna motion to them to go back down to the road, and I think Theo and I should take like the long way, like this way along
Out
this
and
hedgerow,
around.
and go back, like to not cross in front of this opening in the gate, like
Smart.
directly.
Very smart.
We'll take a long midnight walk through the field.
Take the long way home.
Yeah, I think like once we're in a distance, like maybe down this field, we could start crossing over. But
All right. So the 4 of you rendezvous at the edge of this field, and you know the weather right now it's still stormy and windy and blustery, which really lended itself to helping you out during this whole thing. But the 4 of you are able to meet back up, and like I said, it's probably about 4:30 in the morning at this point.
Runar's tired.
Yeah. Yeah, Byron is too.
Yeah, let's get some shut-eye and
Just very quickly. Did
figure
we,
out what we got in
Yeah.
the morning.
did we do anything stupid enough that we need to worry about?
Yeah, did everything go all right inside?
I don't think they know. I don't think they'll know that I was even there.
All right, let's get some sleep.
That's great.
Yes, I think we should rest, and then in the morning I have some things I'd like to show you.
All right.
Ooh.
Where should
Cool.
we meet in the morning now? Or where is everybody staying tonight?
The goat.
I'll be at the snapping line. Like I
Yeah, I don't think I have a place yet.
Yeah. Should we stay at the goat, or should we all stay at the same place? Or try to?
Well, I think we have rooms at the goat for a few days. So
Let's
it
go
wouldn't
to
be
the
a
goat.
bad. It's not a
All
bad
right.
idea to be split up a little
Okay.
bit as
Yeah.
well.
All right. I think we can. Let's see.
Why don't we meet in the market in the morning?
To be fair, it is morning, so perhaps around lunchtime.
Yeah. What time did we have to meet, Captain? What's his name again? Fire. Something.
Firebrand.
Eleander Fireborn.
Fireborn. Yep.
Yeah, Fireborn.
Firebread.
Fireborn. What time were we supposed to meet him? Does anybody remember? I think it was
he
the
said
morning.
any time in the morning. Yeah,
Yeah. So maybe we'll shoot for late morning.
that's the same for like 11. Let's get like 6-8 hours.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much it. Dave, would that still count as a long rest? Like,
If you get 8 hours of sleep in, it would.
I don't know if we have that, but
That would put you at 1 o'clock. Because by the time you get back to your locations, it's going to be about 5 a.m.
we also didn't like. I don't know. I guess we could just be a little tired tomorrow. I don't know if anybody's like
Yeah.
short.
Well,
mechanically
Irin
speaking,
got knocked out just
Yeah.
hours ago. Some
How
of you
does that-
took-
Mechanically, I feel great.
yeah,
Yeah.
your stats indicate that you feel great, but
Yeah.
you're wiped out. And Theo, I'm not sure about you because you kind of just one shot at the guy.
Theo is perfectly fine, unfortunately.
Byron,
He is
you're probably
equally-
pretty tired from not only your fight, but then all of the climbing and sneaking around. That takes a toll on a body for sure.
Yep, and I actually don't think I've rested since I came to Saltmarsh, so I'm pretty
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Like I just got off a boat, so I'm
You guys-
probably beat.
Got
Yeah.
off a boat, killed a guy.
Broke into a
Didn't
place,
kill him. He bought insurance.
broke into a mansion, stole a bunch of shit.
Good
This
decisions
guy's-
all around.
You're fucking Jason Bourne. God damn.
Yeah, he's a very efficient Dungeons and Dragons character. But
use
you
that
guys
on
also could have taken a somewhat of a short rest while you were waiting for Byron. I would say, that was about an
Sure.
hour, so that could have been a short rest. But yeah, you guys are tired.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just get to it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the rest of us will go to the goat, and then why don't we just meet up outside the snapping line at like what 11?
Yeah.
11 sounds good. Actually, I
Yeah.
might just stay at the snapping line.
Yeah, I
'Cause
was gonna
isn't
say.
Theo already staying there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're already staying there, I'll just stay there too, and that way I don't have to go all the way to the Wicker Goat, and I can get a little more rest. Because I'm not gonna walk. I'm not gonna want to walk all the way to the other side of town.
Yeah, and like
there's a hotel right here.
I mean, I'm not so sure when we left the goat, we said that we didn't need the rooms.
I thought we said we would have them for a few days.
No, I don't remember
That's what I remember. I could be wrong.
because we didn't know what we were going to be doing at that point. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind going to the goat.
Okay, so Irin and Rhunar make their way to the Wicker Goat.
The
and
wicked
the
goat.
Wicked Goat.
That's the
Um,
basement of the Wicker Goat.
Yep. And meanwhile, Theo and Byron make their way to the snapping line for some much-needed rest after a very full day in Saltmarsh.
Too bad the assassins that are waiting for us don't give us a chance.
Dun,
Wait.
dun.
Okay,
John Cena.
so to fast forward a little bit, you guys are not going to take a full long rest, correct? You decided that you wanted to be
Correct.
okay. So, and you wanted to meet at 11 o'clock in front of the snapping line.
Yeah. It's like 5 or 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yep. Okay, so we'll just nothing else happens in the wee hours of the morning. You guys all make your way to your various locations. Those of you that did have rooms ready, they're available to you and you're able to get in. Those that hadn't reserved a place to stay at any particular time are able to track down someone that allows you to pay for a room. And if I remember, actually I don't remember, but I have it written down here. 8 silver pieces over at the Wicker Goat and 5 at the snapping line. For the night.
Okay, so it's 10 silver per gold, right?
Yes.
Cool.
All right, so we can kind of fast forward to 11 a.m. and the guys, Irin and Rhunar, make it to the front of the snapping line.
All right.
All right, we got to go tour this house real quick, don't we?
Do we? Yeah.
I don't want her to know. If we don't show up, they might suspect that I may have been there.
Right. We have to go and. act
So
like nothing has
yeah,
changed.
let's go pretend nothing happened.
While we are walking there, didn't you want to tell us a few things?
I want to show you some things actually, but well, actually, I think we should wait until after we're done with this.
Okay.
I don't want it. I don't want them to see any of the items.
Don't want us to see any of the items. I assume that means that you liberated?
Um,
Nope.
well, yeah, we should probably go do this now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. Let's just
All right.
convene afterwards.
Yeah. Someplace private where nobody will see what I'm showing you, because
I think
this is pretty
word
intense stuff.
I don't like it when you say that.
I think word will have gotten out about our crazy night last night at the fight club.
If to make it more legitimate, I could punch one of you in the eye. One of you could punch
I
me in
think
the eye.
I think how tired we are will say everything.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Offer is there, just in case.
So yeah, we'll make our way to the Drallion estate.
Okay. So you hike back across town, definitely getting your steps in the last couple days, and make your way to the Drallion estate. And when you arrive, Eleander is speaking with the guards in the front. And as you step up, he turns to you and says, "Ah, I wasn't sure we were going to see you today. We had assembled the staff from the estate earlier this morning, anticipating your arrival to question them, but we ended up letting them go back to work."
That's quite all right. We kind of had a long night.
Yeah, you look like hell. What
Yeah,
happened?
I didn't sleep very well. I had a fight, and I really hurt a really nice guy, and I kind of felt remorseful about it all night. It just ruined my sleep.
Okay, mommy's coming.
Well, we're here now.
Yes, Sophia.
what are your
Is
intentions?
she around?
She's inside.
She spoke of giving us a walkthrough of the crime scene, I guess you would say.
Yes. Let's go in.
Very good.
Will all of you be coming with?
I'd like to go, if possible.
Okay.
I am here to help. So yes.
Yes,
All right.
these men will be helping me.
Okay, so you walk back into what you remember is this really grand entrance to this building, following Eleander in. The two guards out on the front steps kind of snapped to attention as you arrived, but you all move inside with Eleander. Your feet falling on this really beautiful stone tile work. Vaulted ceiling above you with this really opulent chandelier that looks like it's extremely expensive and well made. There's a banister that's beautifully carved that has stairs that run all the way up to a second-story balcony where you see another guard posted, kind of overlooking the entranceway, and he kind of nods as Eleander walks in. There's a statue, again, I don't know if you remember, but there's a statue as you walk into the right. It's a marble, human-sized statue of this powerful-looking man holding a lightning bolt, and at his feet lay broken skulls and shattered bones. It's a little grim. And as you enter in, you see the familiar face of Sophia Drallion walking down the grand staircase towards you. "Ah, Byron, gentlemen, you've returned. Very good. We weren't sure if you were going to make it, but as I mentioned, we can give you an opportunity to survey the crime scene and see if there's any clues that you can pick up. What would you like to see?"
May I ask a question first?
Absolutely.
What is this a statue of? I am not familiar with this, but it is most striking and very, very specific.
Ah, that is a depiction of the god Hieronius. Are you familiar?
I am more than some, less than I would like to be some days.
Very good. Well, we're not here to discuss religion, I'm sure. Byron, is there something in particular that you'd like to see?
I would like to start with first where he was found, and then second, does he have a study or an office that I could peruse?
Yes, of course, of course. Follow me. And she leads you up the stairs into this hallway, and then she takes you down a long hallway to a set of stairs that go up to a second story. As you climb the stairs, you see let's see, what do you see here? You see she guides you through this door into a room, and in this room, it appears as though it serves as some sort of like a workstation. There are a couple of windows that let in some ambient light. It also looks out over towards the Azure Sea, so it's got a nice view. It's a workstation on the east. It looks to be on the east or southeast end of the house. A large table in the center of the room with a wooden chair next to it. Appears as though important research takes place here or was taking place. There are books and documents on the table. And there are two smaller workstations on the eastern end of the room where there are two additional chairs. And as you all enter this room, she says, this is where they found his body, I was told. And she says, you can see there's still a bit of blood staining the floor. And she kind of pulls the chair from the table away, and you can see that there's a dark stain on the floorboards. The floors up here are made out of wood.
Okay. So they found him here, and this is where he would have been working?
Yes, this was, I guess, where he did most of his research.
Is it all right?
She kind of
if
leads
we...
through some of the papers, and she says most of these are pretty personal records of his business dealings. You're welcome to look over them, but I can't let you take any of them. We're going to need those.
I understand. Do you mind if we just spend some time in here, and we'll call for you when we need you again?
I'll be staying here while you're here.
Okay. I'll look at the other three guys, and I'll be like, guys, let's sit down and let's peruse through this real quick. And we'll just take down any recent dealings that with anyone that we think, and then we'll just discuss this business with them in a little bit.
I'd like to ask a few questions. When you discovered the body, was there, blood on the walls or anywhere, or was it just right in this one spot?
This is when Eleander kind of speaks up. He says, we found him in this room. It appeared as though this is where the murder had taken place. There are no blood stains anywhere else in the house that we were able to find. There was a considerable amount of blood on the floor here and actually dripped through the floorboards into the room below. He was, and he kind of looks over at Sophia, and he just to see if she's paying attention, he says, Aubrek was cut from ear to ear. His neck was slit.
And there's no evidence of forced entry?
We did not detect any evidence of forced entry. However, there was a broken window that was reported a night before to one of the staff who was supposed to fix it. That window was not fixed.
I see. What staff member was supposed to fix it?
The groundskeeper.
Was
What were you getting?
Was that
Go ahead.
window in this room?
No, it's on the lower floor.
Like the ground floor?
I can certainly show you that room if you'd like to see it. Might be good for you to see.
We could finish searching this, too.
Very well. So if you guys want to help him look through some of the books and documents, or or whoever wants to make the roll can make that roll with advantage.
This would be an investigation, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Do you want to do the actual roll, and I'll just help you?
With
Me?
advantage? Me? Are you talking to Rhunar?
Who wanted to do the investigation?
Well, I mean,
I
Any
could
of us
look.
could.
anybody.
I have skill at investigation, it seems.
Then help him.
All right, check out the papers then.
Yes, yeah. You tell me if
Yeah.
you see any names that pop out to you. Maybe in your having done business with him yourself.
While that's going on,
That was Rhunar that had business with him.
Oh, dang it! I'm getting you guys mixed up a lot, aren't I?
That's okay.
we're all the same people.
I wish it showed your little pictures down in the bottom.
While that's happening, Theo is going to just kind of inspect the room itself, looking around at both kind of just the books on the wall and the furniture around, and also going to murmur under his breath, and his eyes will turn, that bright white blue, and you also use detect magic just in case anything strange is happening there.
Okay. Nice, Irin. That's better.
Yeah.
So yeah, you
Advantage is good.
yeah, it is. You sort of leaf through some of the books and some of the loose papers that are on the desk, and it looks mostly like ledgers of business transactions. You get the sense from
I know about business transactions.
you get the sense from what you see in just a short period of time that that business was good, and that he had a lot of recent dealings in largely based on moving goods from one port to another. So it appears
Import export.
Yep, the Westwind Trading Company, which is
Those
you
dirty
see that
fuckers.
you see that name a lot in the ledgers, but it seems as though business had picked up in the last couple of weeks, and before that it was there were many days, weeks, months in between transactions. But since the last couple weeks, things have been picking up quite a bit, and you get the sense also with that investigation check that there are oftentimes more than one person working in this room, just based on the different handwriting that you notice at the different workstations. Let's see.
So with these ledgers, I don't know specifically what kind of detail is there, but I mean, is it such that we can see, with this roll or whatever, that we can see, like patterns in of say buyers and sellers, or ships being used to transport such goods?
You see a bunch of names of ships, because that's one of the fields that he keeps track of, is which ships were going where and who the captains were and what ports they were going to. Most of the business recently, and if you look back in some of the older ledgers, are trips that are made between Gradzul, are made to Gradzul and Seaton. So it's definitely a regional operation.
Okay.
He has some records of going up the Sheldamar River as well, into the interior of Keeland.
Okay.
You see the city
The
of
Griffin's Wing
Niledra.
isn't in this ledger, is it?
You do not see anything about the Griffin's Wing.
Okay. And then I guess one last question about data points. The older data points from older transactions, from when it was spaced out a lot.
Like during the rough times.
Yeah. like is obviously without necessarily knowing stuff, like is there a difference in I guess like contract names, like is some of the business does some of the business appear in the ledgers to be like the same kind of like the same people doing business from the rough times to the good times, or does it ultimately, like, is there some kind of new influx of something that
I
we
see.
can see in the data other than the fact that there is more now than there was? Does that make sense?
Yep. You're
I don't know
basically
if
trying to,
I'm good enough to do that, but
yeah, well, you're trying to essentially see if there's a shift in the pattern before, earlier transactions versus the more recent stuff. And you really can't pick anything up. I mean, it just looks like really basic information about ships, their cargo, some of them going to Red Shore, some going all the way up to Gradzul, ports that they went to, the names of potentially you would assume are names of the buyers, the names of the brokers maybe, because a lot of times these guys will ship goods between ports and it'll be a broker that is actually then takes control of the cargo and then they take it to the next step of actually distributing it to the purchasers. But you don't really pick up anything along those lines of like, oh, now it's, now there's some different group of business people that he's working with.
sure. So if he's part of this Westwind trading company, it seems like, so are they, I assume that they're the shippers. Does that, I don't know if that's data we can pull from this. Like what's his business?
What's the model?
Well, like
essentially, so he hires.
Yeah, what is Drallion doing? Is Drallion?
He's a logistics guy.
Okay.
So he moves things from one place to another, and he has a network of ships that he hires to do that. So he doesn't. You don't get the sense that he owns a fleet of ships.
He just knows the guy.
He knows people who are looking for work, and he gets them work, and as part of that, he had made a fortune doing so, and it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different approach to a lot of these guys. Oftentimes will own the fleet of boats, but he has taken a different approach. That's one thing that's sort of different about his business model.
Okay.
Theo, you snap on your magic vision, and you don't pick up any pings in this room.
All right. Well, then Theo will just, while that's all going on, he'll just be kind of perusing the books and, do the, occasional just check to make sure a door frame's actually a door frame, or, is that candlestick, an actual candlestick or a secret door thing, He doesn't expect much, but he's looking thorough.
Sure, kind of just like knocking on the wood paneling just to see if there's any, like, yep.
Pulling every other book.
He also enjoys reading, so maybe he's looking for a nice title.
There's nothing that you find beyond what I mentioned in this room.
Makes sense.
All right. Should we go look at the broken window then?
You said you wanted to see his study.
Yes, his study, please.
Could I ask a question about the business real quick to Sophia?
I'll do my best to answer.
As we understand, the business was not doing very well for some time, and then it started to pick up. Why was the business not doing well?
Well, my brother had made some investments that were, how should I say this, bad. He lost a lot of money, and he had gotten a breath of fresh optimism, as it would seem, in the last couple of weeks, which is what this place needed. As you can see, if you look around, it's quite obvious that this place is somewhat unkept. And she kind of runs her finger across, a piece of the wall hanging, and there's just thick dust. She's like,
Was he Was he in debt to anyone?
That I do not believe is the case. The family had been helping him for quite some time.
I was about to ask, is it a family business?
The family has invested quite a bit in Aubric. So yes, you could say it was a family business, although none of us had any direct dealings with the operations until now. Now I'm here
So
to
you
try
haven't
to...
you haven't heard about anybody he might have been doing business with at the time when the business went bad?
Well, we have records of all of that here. Yes, we have records of all of the business dealings. His downfall was not the business dealings, but the fact that he was making investments that he shouldn't have been making. But come, let me show you his study. And she sort of like guides you out back into the hallway where you can look down upon the grand entry.
Well, they're going here. Just, do you know what kind of bad investments he made? Nothing else. I would like to avoid them as well.
You asked that of her?
Yes.
She says, right now I'm not at liberty to divulge much more than what I've already said about our business dealings. As you can probably imagine, we're dealing not only with the tragedy of my brother's death, but also trying to reestablish the business operation. And we're not at liberty to divulge too much more about the intricacies of our business relationships.
So you will be continuing the business here?
That is the idea.
Cool.
I
Best of luck to you.
I understand that. I guess my only concern was perhaps he did a bit of business with a very dangerous person, and it might help to know who that person was if, it turned out poorly and ended up with him getting killed because of it.
That is quite possible, and I can assure you that we are looking into that.
Okay.
But thank you for your concern.
Let's go downstairs.
Before we do that, she
to the
says,
study first, yeah.
We'll go
study.
over here, and she guides you over, and she opens the door into this room. And as the five of you walk into this room behind her, Byron, you see two familiar green chairs, a couch, and a bookshelf with all kinds of books on it. A room that you had been in the previous night. The room that had the secret door that led into the secret study.
Very good.
But nobody else knows this at this time. Essentially, what you walk into is a fairly modest sitting room, and there is like I said, a bookshelf. There is a spot where you can imagine Aubric sitting down to read books, to study things, and kind of relax. This is less of a work room like the other room was, more of like an office. This is more of sort of like a lounging study. More
Yep.
low key. And then she opens the door and just says, this is to the north, there's a door that she opens, and it opens into a large room that she kind of allows you to take a look into, and it's just this large kind of game room, and there's a couple of tables with cards on them. And she says, this is where Aubric spent most of his time. He loved to read.
See.
Obviously. And Theo starts looking at the books.
Yeah, I'll walk over to the books too.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go sit down in the chair that Ulrich used to sit in a lot
Okay.
and see what I see.
All right. So when you sit in his chair, you see you can look out the window, and it looks out the west side of the house, so it looks back at like the hillside, the pasture behind the house, and some of the forest behind the house, so it's not facing the ocean. And the chair is very comfortable. Theo, what are you doing again? You're looking at the books on the bookshelf?
Just looking the books over because, interesting to see what the man was reading.
Okay, so a couple of different titles. There's a bunch of books that seem to have like an arcane bent to them. Spell weaving and profane works of our history, written by Illidan Windwalker out of the University of Magical Arts in Greyhawk. Death is Not the Final Stage, written by Lord Halford Fairfax. Don't Eat This Book by Naomi Persnippence.
Oh, I want to eat that book.
There's a lot of like natural history type books. One in particular catches your eye. The title is This Is a Rock, written by Grimer Stonebasher. There are books about different types
I hope the
of
title is This Is Not a Rock.
there are books about different beasts from different regions of the continent. There's a book, Orcs and Diplomacy, written by William Wildrider.
You open it up and it's just a small axe.
Do you open it up?
I will actually. What the heck?
So, okay, you pull it off the shelf and kind of open it up, and essentially it's a memoir of William Wildrider, who was essentially tasked by one of the early kings of Kieland to lead the negotiations with a neighboring orc clan that had been hostile during an earlier conflict, and sort of it details his experiences in setting up this agreement with the parties involved. And roll a history check for me.
15. Not bad.
Okay. Something rings a bell here, and you kind of page to the end of the book, and there's sort of like some notes that are in the back page there's like a blank page at the end of the book that there's some notes, and it just says, "A total joke. This book is terrible. In fact, war broke out between the orcs and the kingdom shortly after this thing was written." Just kind of like some notes in the margin type thing.
Theo just kind of furrows his brow for a second, puts that book up, goes back down to This Is Not a Rock, or This Is a Rock, pulls that out and checks for notes as well.
Okay, so you page through it, or do you just look at the back?
We'll page through it, starting at the back. So starting at the back and working my way forward.
Okay, there doesn't seem to be any notes in the same location as with that first book, but you get the sense right away that this is almost like a textbook written by what you can only imagine is some sort of a dwarven mining expert. Tons of esoteric knowledge about minerals, gems, crystals, how to identify them based on their geometry and size and the characteristics of their growth patterns and crystallization formations.
It's a geology technique.
It's basically a geology book.
Theo's gonna stop and look over at the good lady because I've forgotten her name, if it's actually Drallion or not.
Yeah, Sophia Drallion.
Sophia, yeah.
My lady Drallion, was your brother a scholar or perhaps a user of magic?
Not a magic user, but certainly an appreciator of the arcane arts. My brother was ever on a quest to learn and to gain knowledge. You could say that he sought out the esoteric knowledge of different regions, and particularly as it pertains to legends and natural history of places long forgotten.
So you'd say perhaps he would be the type of person who is a seeker of the arcane, and he just gives her a very interested look.
On hearing you say that, my eyes are gonna kind of like go up and then go back to normal.
She just kind of nods. She doesn't make any strange like motions, but she kind of nods and says, "Yes, he was a curious fellow, but well read and very knowledgeable in many subjects."
Clearly, if at any point in the future you were to need to get rid of any of these books, I would love to speak with you about it. but I know it's a very important collection too.
It's a wonderful collection. I can only imagine that it's worth thousands and thousands.
Precisely. And just look back.
Well, gentlemen, is there anything else that that you care to see?
We'll take a cursory glance at that window, and then we'll be out of your hair.
Very well. She takes you back down the service stairs into a back room that appears to be relatively unused. Let's see here. The dust choke room contains a slender bed, a wooden bench, a pile of shovels, and you can clearly see where there's a window that is boarded up. There's a second window that has a thick pane of glass that is hard to look through. It seems a little warped, but there's certainly another window that's boarded up where there is no glass pane.
And does the groundskeeper live here?
Not currently, but we do use it as a bit of a storage space, it appears.
Who else lives here then?
Well, there's some groundskeeper that lives out in the groundskeeper's house just to the south, out by the fields. Aubric had leased the fields to a family who had been working the field, and that is his family.
Mm-hmm. And so the night of the event, the only people that should have been anywhere on the property were, of course, Lord Drallion and the groundskeeper.
That is correct. The chef lives in town, and she comes into the estate in the mornings, prepares the meals, and then leaves.
Is she the one that found Aubric?
Yes.
And she found him in the morning, like around breakfast time?
Yes. When she arrived after preparing his food, when he didn't come down, she went in to see if she could find him in the place that she most often found him, which was in the office room, and there he was, laying on the floor, I'm afraid.
I see. Well, I think we've gotten everything we need.
Very well, gentlemen. I will show you out. Eleander, thank you once again for helping facilitate this. I hope that some of this helped in some way. It is a great mystery to us, and I hope that we find an answer to the strange, strange fate that my brother befell. She guides you back down the staircase past the guardsman who is standing at the balcony. And at this point, you also see another fellow standing across at another set of double doors, and he kind of watches you with sort of this suspicious eye as you walk down the stairs. But he does not look like a town's guard. He looks a little bit different, but he looks like a fighter.
What's he look like?
He's got long blonde hair. He's wearing a chainmail shirt, and he has a sword on his belt, on a leather strap wrapped around his waist. And he is not a big, bulky figure, but agile and muscular looking, clean shaven, and just a straight face. No, not giving any sort of expression as you walk by, other than just sort of this curious eye as he watches you.
Good morning, friend.
Can we assume that this guy is with Sophia?
I think that would be safe to assume, yes.
And did we ever meet her husband?
Marcel?
Yeah.
Not her husband, but
first day?
you have not met him.
Oh, but we've heard of him.
Yes, and Byron has met him.
Yep. Yeah,
And Byron, you actually recognize the fellow on the balcony with the curious eye. He traveled as Lady Sophia's personal bodyguard from grad school, so he was with you through the travel.
Okay. When I see him, I'll just give him the upward head nod.
You recall his name is Toric.
What's up, bro?
Oh, nice, Toric. I'm not gonna say anything to him. I'm just gonna be like, "Hey," with the head nod. I don't know if he recognizes me.
He doesn't. It's hard to say if he does or not. He doesn't make any sort of gesture as you walk down the stairs and back out into the grand entrance.
And I feel as though during our travels, it was very similar.
Yeah, he was very business. He wasn't really socializing. He was very. He was on the clock the whole time. It seemed like.
All right. Well, gentlemen, let's go get an ale.
Before, once we're outside of the house, Theo would just like to go. Is it Sir Fireborn, Mr. Fireborn? What is the title I choose for you?
Well, you can call me Eleander if you want. If you want to be formal about it, you can call me Captain Fireborn.
I hadn't had the permission to be formal. So, Eleander, I have a question. Are these guards all local guards?
Well, these guards here, as you walk past the two guards at the front of the building, all of the guards around the perimeter are towns guards.
Okay.
They work for me. The men inside the building work for Sophia. They're not with the town guards. I have never met those men.
No, it's fine. I just wasn't sure how much of the town's manpower was out here. Okay, thank you.
Very well, gentlemen. If there's anything else that you need from me, I will be in the Watch Tower.
I'd like, are we outside the building
Yeah,
now?
you're outside now.
Like on the road?
You're right out in front of the building.
Okay. I'd just like to kind of lean in to the captain and just say, it seems suspicious to me that Aubric's death coincided with his business taking off again.
Yes, I agree with you.
Is there anyone else in the town that might have, suffered from his success? Like, was he out competing anyone? Have you looked into any other, business interests in the town that might have been competition for Aubric?
We have not pursued that line of questioning, but it seemed to us in a very cursory assessment that the recent successes that Aubric was experiencing were also flowing to the rest of the town. As you may have noticed, the population has been swelling. I mean, of course, we've got the mine is starting to show some great promise, which is also drawing people to Saltmarsh, but I don't know. His work and his business was so regional. I can't imagine that anybody in Saltmarsh would begrudge him. In fact, I would imagine that most people, especially business people in town, would benefit from his success in some way. It always seemed to me like the Drallion, well, Aubric Drallion in particular, was a man who would share the wealth with the community, if you will. A bit of a philanthropist in a lot of respects. But I believe that it is an important thing to hopefully Sophia can provide us with some documents that might allow us to investigate that line of questioning further. It's certainly a question to be followed and answered.
All right, yeah. I'm glad you're looking into that. I just think it seems very suspicious.
Yes. He was seeing great success, and he was rebuilding his company, which was exciting. It's so sad to see him struck down. I hope and I believe that we will get to the bottom of this eventually. Any assistance that you can provide would be greatly appreciated. I do ask that you come to me if you do find any other additional information that you think would be helpful in our investigation.
We certainly will.
Of course.
And try not to muck anything up.
What? Us?
Gentlemen, unless there's anything else, I will take my leave.
Thank you, Captain.
Good day.
And he hustles off as he does. He always seems to be in a hurry.
We should, gentlemen, be in a hurry too, because I would love to see what it is you have. But I also have a date with a shanker.
What time were you
What?
supposed to?
I'm
What time were you
supposed
supposed to be with Kreb?
midday.
Mm-hmm.
Getting close to that. All right.
Yeah, it's midday basically.
Oh boy. Do you want to go do that first?
I can, but I have the feeling it is something that I should do either by myself or probably without Rhunar or Irin around, because you two definitely have a reputation.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you're supposed to meet him right now, I don't want to keep you.
I will say
but
this.
I can't show you this here.
Theo, I will say this. You didn't get the sense that it was like you need to be there at noon. It was like midday.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know,
well, then
so.
let's have that conversation.
Maybe we could push it like an hour and just have
Yeah.
a meeting here real quick. Should we pick a good place to grab a drink and discuss?
I would prefer we went somewhere secluded.
One of our rooms, maybe?
That would work.
I can assure you, my room at the snapping line is very secure.
We
Yeah,
could take a walk along the bluffs.
that's true. It is secluded out here as well.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Out past the temple, then there's really gonna be nobody prying eyes, right?
We could go to see the grave of our fallen comrade. No one would bother us for that.
Also true.
I trust your gentlemen's I trust your judgments. You lead the way, and I will follow. But if I don't feel secure, then I will probably have to show you the rest of it another time. But we'll see. We will see. Let's go where we're going.
Theo just pats Byron's arm. It's a cemetery. What could be more secure? When has any
Well,
bad
I
thing
mean,
ever happened in a cemetery?
There could be other people visiting graves there.
Yeah,
Why
or
are you ruining it?
people working from the temple,
I think
attending
people
to
behind-
graves.
Let's
Yeah.
take a walk out to bluffs.
Okay, walk
Yeah,
out the
yeah, I
door.
like that. Out here.
Yeah.
Alright, sure.
All right, yeah, we're gonna make that walk.
Okay. So you head up the hill past Winston's store, past the entrance to the Saltmarsh Cemetery, where your friend is buried, your friend Farendir, and you.
R.I.P.
Yep. And you make your way out past the end of the gravel road onto a dirt path that follows the contours of the bluffs.
All right, once we're out here a ways, and I feel like we're like pretty well secluded, I'm going to reach into my bag, and I'm going to pull out Albrecht Drallion's journal,
Oh, hello.
and I'm gonna pull out the stack of papers with the upside down triangle thingy. All of that, all the loose leaf papers of all those business dealings that I wrapped up. And then I'm going to reach into a different bag for a while, and then I'm going to kind of tip the bag upside down and dump out a 2 foot by 2.5 foot by 3 foot giant blue metallic box. That is too heavy for me to lift.
You are
Runar's visibly shocked right now.
talented man. And Theo, apparently not bothered by this at all. Immediately goes, "Can I see that paper with the triangle on it?"
That bag is bigger on the inside.
Yeah, you can fit a lot.
This
Jesus.
this is a special bag.
Who's this Jesus?
Have you never seen one of these guys?
I've heard stories. Never seen one in person.
One of these are kind of required in my line of work. But anyways, regardless of that, so I have Aubric's journal, which I will read through.
That
I think myself. I would
It's-
rather hold on to this myself.
this box here is what I pulled off of that wreck in the sea.
I was going to wonder what happened to that.
This is the artifact that I recovered for Aubrek Drallion.
I had a feeling.
It's some sort of magic object. We couldn't tell what it was. Theo, can you get any kind of read on this thing?
I mean, I could try. I'm not really good at. Are you kidding? He mutters a few words under his breath, and his eyes change color, and he looks at the box with his magic eyes.
And as you kind of, your vision changes into this almost like monochromatic field of vision, you see this blue metallic-y vibration, this sort of pulsing essence coming off of this box, and you get the sense of like an abjuration school coming from it.
Does it seem to be coming from the box and that material, or inside the box?
All you can see is that it seems to be coming from the box.
I'll take it. So I have good news and I have bad news.
The fuck
Good
is in the
news?
box?
Well, hold on. We'll get there. The good news is that is magical. The bad news is, you remember how I said there was a weird magical pattern that was on the room with the vampire? It's not the same thing, but I get the same feeling of protective magics from it. So I'm not making any decisions about opening that box or not. I clearly cannot be trusted with those. What is? You said you had some papers with a triangle on them, Byron?
Yes, those I will just hand over.
Let me see this.
It's just I noticed this one page that has the triangle on it, the weird triangle pyramid thingy.
Runar's
upside
definitely
down.
interested in those things.
But I also have, well, if you remember, we went into the room with the two chairs.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I took so long is because I took all the books off the shelf and I found a lever, and it led me to a secret office where I found all of these papers, the book, the box, and everything.
Oh, good. The first question I just have to Dave, the DM, is, okay, no, that's the triangle I thought it was. I just saw it on my screen. So, Rhunar,
Theo
Irin.
and Rhunar all know that symbol.
you remember when I said it sounds like maybe there's an inside man in Saltmarsh at the temple on the islet? Theo just points at the paper.
So was he working with the Abbey? The clerics in the Abbey?
I believe he would at best be working with the organization that was connected to the clerics in the Abbey.
Or at least studying them for some reason, if not just fully working with them.
So I will, if it is okay with you, I'll start looking through these papers, unless you, Rhunar, you want to look through the papers? Rhunar, do you want to look at the papers instead?
Oh yeah, I'll look at the papers. Yes, please.
All right. Well, while you guys are looking at the papers, I'm gonna start trying to heat that box back into my bag of holding.
What are we going to do with that box?
I think I know someone who may be able to help.
Dave, on these papers, is there anything I can discern concerning, is it written in common? Like, is the writing something I can read?
Roll an investigation check.
All right.
Not bad.
Nice, very nice. You okay? So you see the symbol, right? This sort of strange triangular symbol. It's not quite as perfect as this image in the chat is, but it's hand drawn on these papers. You see that in one spot, and around the context for this is really hard to identify. But there's some. It almost looks like there's some measurement of the angles of the triangle connections. There are like some numbers around the margins of the symbol, and then there's a bunch of strange shorthand that you don't really understand. There isn't really a whole lot of like text at all. These are sketches. The papers that Byron grabbed off of his desk just seem to be sort of like sketches and drawings. And this is the one that really stood out, is this symbol.
So,
And it also, you get the sense that you've seen some of these numbers and sketches in a similar type of, well, you've seen this image before, not only in at the temple, but also in your own journal that you have.
yeah, in my insane scribblings. Okay, so does it look as though the does it look as though he's trying to figure out how to open the box with these measurements and things, or can I not tell that?
It's hard to, with that investigation check, it's hard to see if there's any sort of connection between these diagrams and the box itself. There doesn't
So I
seem to
don't-
be any logical connection.
So there's not like a drawing of the box on
Correct.
there, like a depiction of it. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
So, right. We should definitely keep the papers, I feel like, for future reference.
I would definitely like to look at those papers a little further, see if I can make any sense out of the math.
There's some shorthand type of notes on here I can't quite make out. Maybe someone else can have better luck.
I was hoping for that, but I do
You
not
know-
know here now is the time and place.
Let me take another peek at them. Because actually, I didn't have time to look at anything last night when I took it. I was trying to get in, get out. I figured get what I can.
Okay, so you're gonna take a look at the loose papers.
Yeah, I'll just see if I recognize the shorthand as as like a code maybe that I'm familiar with, or if I'm not familiar with it.
All right, you can roll an investigation check on that.
I just read through this whole Drallion's journal thing, and
Oh, jeez, I just saw that.
Are you gonna roll an investigation?
yep, yeah, it took me a second.
Oh, okay. There it is. Nice.
Nice.
You do see some things that stand out to you as notes and names. In fact, you see the name Armand Poe that you recognize, and there's a little note to check in with Armand on the origins of this symbol. Armand Poe is a man that you know from Gradzul, who is also a member of the Seeker's Lodge there.
Okay.
But a lot of the shorthand is Aubric's shorthand, and it would probably take some time to try to figure it out.
Okay.
A cursory glance in the wind on top of a bluff is not going to probably suffice.
Right. Well, shoot. I think I'm gonna tell you guys. I don't know if I told you guys this yet. Did I tell you guys that I'm a seeker of the arcane?
No, you did not.
Yes. I work for a secret organization known as the Seekers of the Arcane. And Aubric was one of my friends, and, well, he was one of my colleagues, let's say. And I think there's more to his death than we know as of right now. But I do know we can find out more information if we go to Gradzul.
more information about this symbol, this triangular symbol?
Yes. One of my fellow seekers may be familiar with the symbol.
And that's the same symbol we found in the Abbey.
In the temple?
It is the symbol of that cult. I believe it was something about the elemental.
The Elder Elemental Eye is what you remember.
Yes, the Elder Elemental Eye.
This is the mural that you saw on the wall. So you guys kind of have, for those of you that saw that and were privy to that lore from the Abbey, you would recognize that symbol pretty quick.
So perhaps he was finding things from that the cult was doing. Perhaps he was not involved directly himself.
Now, the other thing I should say is that this isn't the only sketch in these papers. So there are sketches of a lot of different things. This is just the one that you would have recognized.
Sure.
The thing is, I would like to take some time and look at the calculations he has around these triangles. They might be something arcane, but I cannot do it up here on the bluffs. Not without us taking most of the afternoon, which I do not think we want to do. So I think we should take some time to kind of sit down and go through this.
Right. And that box needs to stay well hidden.
No shit.
I think I've got that undercover.
Just so you guys know, Aubrek paid our party over 10,000 gold to recover that.
That is why you are so goddamn rich.
Oh,
So that box is very valuable and could be very dangerous.
That's buying a title, man.
I was completely unaware of that.
We all don't do that.
Part of me is,
When
Byron is like, oh shit, why did I show you guys this? Do I trust you that much?
Yeah, what you are walking around with there, friend, is extremely valuable and potentially very dangerous.
Well, then it's a good thing I'm carrying it.
Well, it's a good thing you have a bag like that, that's for sure.
Yes, no one will
That's
suspect
obvious.
that I have it.
So be very careful because that probably means that sisters.
Can you guys help me get this back in this bag? It's like super heavy.
Yes, of course.
Getting it into the bag, like once it's in there, I mean, I had to use a crowbar when I was in there.
I mean, can we put the bag over the box?
I mean, that's kind of what I did, but then it's like just the tipping it in part that's difficult.
Fair. Yes, we'll assist.
Yeah, you're able to, with the help of your companions, to get the box back into your bag of holding.
Okay, sweet.
And then you also are standing there with the journal as well.
Yes, I do have the journal.
What up with that?
You guys look at this journal, and it's a leather-bound tome that is closed and tightly wrapped with a leather thong. On the cord, this leather cord, there is another this kind of iron symbol, a familiar 8-pointed star. The pages that you can see, the edges of the pages are very worn and kind of rough and scraggly, like in the picture that I posted in the chat.
It does say that the first part is readable to me.
Yep. So I can tell you a little bit about this journal, Drallion's journal. So essentially, this is if you open it up, you can see that it's filled with a mixture of ciphers, diagrams, written notes that are written in, again, this kind of illegible shorthand. You get the sense that you might be able to decipher them, but it would take some time to sort of try to figure it out. But the first part of the journal, the first section of the journal, when you open the page, you can read. But just so you know, and I'll share that with you in a second, this is a sort of item where you can take time with it to study it and try to essentially uncover some of the information that's in it. And basically what it is that you would utilize either a short or long rest to use your time to read through the book, try to unravel its mysteries, and you would make an intelligence investigation check to see what type of information you're able to pull from it.
Okay, and is all of that information available to everyone else, or is it just me?
Whoever sits down with the book to try to decipher its contents would be able to have access to the information, or if you shared it with them.
Okay, I will probably not share the book with anyone then, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. I will say it is no offense to you. It is and then I'll reach into my pack and I'll take out my journal, which I'm assuming is going to be pretty similar to this one.
Byron.
Yes.
Do you know what that symbol is on the front? The star?
Yes.
Is that your club symbol?
They are a secret order, gentlemen. Have some respect.
Yeah, that is the Seeker's sigil.
So what do you do?
We do a lot of things. We like to collect. We seek out basically ancient magic legends, basically, and we collect them, and then we bring them back to the lodge, and we use them.
And sometimes you give them to your friends.
Yeah, sometimes we give them away. Sometimes, we're not trying to hide this knowledge, but we're just trying to make sure it doesn't end up in the wrong hands. That's pretty much it. Or that's all I feel comfortable telling you at this point.
I can tell you they go through a lot of wine. That's my contribution.
A lot of wine?
Wait. Look, so my stepfather, that piece of trash, he was a merchant in grad school. If you ever got drunk at that lodge, he probably was involved in getting the wine there.
Oh. Well then.
Interesting.
I wanted to feel like I was involved. Sorry, guys. Please continue.
I will jam my journal and then Drallion's journal into my pack for now.
Okay.
And I will be investigating that later, probably. You had to meet Schenker.
Yes, I do. And I probably should not take Rhunar or Irin, no offense. You could probably tell me you've made the impression of being a sharp guy last night.
Yeah, I would come along. I can't find my notes right now.
It's okay. It's just full of more fun.
Well, didn't we have another thing that we were planning on doing besides Schenker?
Wait, we're gonna do Schenker?
Well, there's the other merchant in town. That is also a member of the city council.
Mm-hmm.
That I thought, could have potentially been competition for Aubric. But, it's hard to tell. I couldn't tell based on, that's kind of what I was trying to get at by talking to Captain Fireborn after we went to the house. But Irin, I don't know if you remember, but he said that he would look into what happened with your brother's boat.
I remember, yes.
So if
We
you
should-
wanted to go by there, we could always do that.
It's not a bad idea.
That way, everyone is busy and productive with their time, and look at us. We are like adults.
Yes.
And actually, I just had another thought. Why don't you guys go talk to the merchants, and you go visit Schenker, and I'll go back to the snapping line, and study this book more.
We could do that.
And we all meet back here in like a couple hours or so.
Here on
Sure.
the ridge.
Do you want to meet here? Do you want to meet at a bar?
Perhaps meet
Or
at
do
the
you want to
snapping line.
meet?
While this is a good place to meet now, perhaps it is also a bit in the open
Yeah, maybe behind closed doors somewhere.
to be meeting here more than once.
Yes, I concur.
So, at the snapping line?
Yes, to the snapping line. And actually, before we go there, I'm gonna take out that scimitar I stole from the wall of the Drallion estate. It's really nice. It's really well made. I don't think I'll ever use it. Does anyone want this?
Could I see that?
Yeah, I'll hand it over. It looks of exceptional
Rhunar does
quality.
love his swords.
Yeah, it's got a very sharp blade on it. It's made of really nice, some sort of a weird alloy, and it's very shiny. It looks like it's well polished and doesn't appear as though it's had much combat use, just based on how pristine the blade looks. But it does feel really nice in your hand.
It seems like a very nice sword. I could use this. Do you think they'll be looking for it though?
Yes, I wouldn't use it in town.
All right.
And if you'd like, I can carry it for now, but
Let's maybe just keep it in the bag for now.
okay,
I'm
yes.
Definitely interested in that. As
Okay.
you can see, I carry 2 of those swords.
Okay, yeah, I'm more of a small pointy one than the big slashy one, so
Did you find that in the hidden room, or was that out in the house somewhere?
that was in the hidden room as well.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's magic or anything. I haven't really, and I'll go ahead and take a look at it now. I just kind of once over it. I saw it was really nice. I kind of have a tendency to take things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, same thing. You hold it in your hand and it just feels extremely well balanced. You kind of swing it back and forth a little bit, and it just has this nice little, almost like a kind of a wonderful, like what are those things called? A tuning fork kind of sound to it.
Oh, nice hum.
Yeah, a nice hum.
It's making Runar's mouth water right now.
Yeah. Seems like one heck of a nice sword.
Yeah.
Well, once we get out of town, it's all yours.
Ah, that would be great. Thank you.
Oh yes. But yes, let's part ways here, and we meet back at the snapping line in a little bit, and we will discuss where we go from here.
Sounds good.
All right. All right, guys, let's take 10 minutes here. And just to double check, we've got Theo going to the empty net to meet with Kreb.
Yep.
We've
Yep.
got Rhunar and Irin going. Where are you guys going again?
We're going to go see Anders Solmore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to go try to find Anders.
Yeah.
And then, Byron, you're heading to back to your room at the snapping line?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, back in 10 minutes, guys.
All right.
Perfect.
Here.
Cool.
You guys ready to get started?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Oh
All right.
yeah.
All
Cool.
right, all right, all right.
Let's get back into it.
Yeah.
In that case, before we split, Theo will put a hand on Byron's shoulder and goes, by the way, if you are at the snapping line, I forgot the name of the place for a second, and you see a woman with very short, very dark hair, with olive skin, and the kind of eyes that would just as soon stab you as look at you, either stay very clear of her or tell her you're working with Theo and you'll buy a drink. Either way, you'll be safe, just in case.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, so the four of you head off in 3 different directions, and let's see, where should we begin? Let me roll a d4.
He was lucky number 1.
Yep. All right, Byron. So you head back to the snapping line, and you head back into your room, and you mentioned that your objective was to sit down and do some studying on this journal. Is that correct?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so you'll have the opportunity to essentially utilize your short rest here to make an investigation of the book, and essentially what's happening is you are looking through the book and attempting to decipher and find meaning in some of the more cryptic portions of the book. So as a short rest, you get to make a straight intelligence investigation check. Now, just FYI, if you were to utilize a long rest for this same type of goal in mind, you could roll a straight roll, as you're going to do right now with your short rest, and still get the long rest benefits, or you could literally use the long rest and to get advantage with your roll, but you wouldn't get the actual benefits of the long rest. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you have the option when you're doing this as a long rest, whether or not you want to take a straight roll or a roll with advantage, but the roll with advantage costs you a little bit. So in this case, because it's going to be a short rest, you get a chance to make a roll. But before you do that, I'm going to share with you the first part of the journal, because the first couple pages of the journal are legible to you right away. So let me share that with you here. And then while you're taking a look at that, we'll switch over to the next gang here. Number 1.
Ooh, for a gang.
There we go. All right, those should now be. Oops. Made a
There
mistake
is. Are there? Oh, I don't have page 2.
here. Yeah, hold on. I made a mistake here. There we go. All right. So there's 3 pages in the first entry. All right, so Theo, we'll move to you as he's reading through that. You make your way across the river, across the Kingfisher. It starts to rain as you're just passing over the Kingfisher River. There's not as many people out and about as there normally are, but it's a pretty stormy day, and you can see that as you look back on the harbor, many of the small fishing boats are already back in their on their docks and are in port. You make your way across the river and over to the snapping line, and you walk in with no problem. It's open and it's super quiet in here. You see 2 figures over at the bar, one on either side of the bar. And as you walk in, you see the bartender look up, and it's Kreb.
Theo will just kind of give him a nod and head over to the bar, a reasonable distance away from the other guy that's on the customer side of the bar, to let them continue their conversation if they're having it.
He gives you a nod and acknowledgement that you've arrived, and he's having a conversation with this other person. As he's doing that, he kind of turns his back and he pours some liquid from one of the bottles of booze behind the bar into a small shot-sized glass, and walks over and sets it in front of you, and he says, "Give me a minute." And he goes back over, and he finishes up his conversation, and he passes something to the man, and the man gets up and leaves the empty net. He turns to you and says, "Well, I see you showed up. Well, that's step one, I guess."
The thing about working is the first thing you have to do is show the fuck up. That's the easy part.
True that. Now look, man, I know you're looking to gather some information about this Drallion fellow, but I just I don't know who the fuck you are. And that's a problem. But I do have something for you, maybe give you an opportunity to give me an opportunity, really, just to see what your capabilities are and how far you're willing to go to earn that trust. If you're still interested, which it looks like you are.
I didn't show up just for the quality of the wonderful liquor. And he promptly downs the shot.
Very well, he says. This is pretty simple. I need you, maybe a couple other of your guys, bit of an escort tonight. I need you to make your way over to the snapping line just before midnight. Don't go in. Stand outside and wait. You're going to wait for that fellow over there. And he points over into the corner, and you see a half-orc sitting at one of the tables smoking a big cigar. He says, "That's Crack. He knows your friend Irin pretty well. You just look for him. He'll be coming out of the snapping line around midnight. All I need you to do is escort him and his party down to the docks. Hang out there for a little bit. And that's all. Real simple. No questions asked. That's it."
One, it's never simple when you say it's simple. But two, that's why you need me and why you don't want any questions asked. I understand. What is payment looking like for this sort of job?
This is part of your deposit on my trust.
Okay. First one for free, that makes sense.
Real good. Midnight, snapping line. Crack will be there.
Midnight, tapping line. The man over there I'm not going to look at because I don't want to be associated with him here. Yes?
Very well.
We'll
You can
talk
leave
tomorrow.
now.
Theo just kind of gets up, walks right back out, and heads back to the snapping line, oddly enough.
Okay. Irin and Rhunar, what's your plan?
Well, I guess I think we should. I am assuming Anders has like a headquarters or like a office or something that he works out of.
Yeah, he was a part of the fucking was it the Mariners Guild?
I don't know if he was in the Mariners Guild or not.
He's part of the town council. That's where you've met him before.
Is it the only place? Am I thinking about? There's too many people who are also in other things. This town is too small.
You probably haven't really investigated much about him at this point, so it would be sort of you could ask around if you wanted to.
Owns a fishing fleet.
Well, he owns a fishing fleet.
Yeah. Yeah, he owns a fishing fleet, so
I guess this whole time I thought he was like a merchant. But with that said, I think that we could still go and meet with him at least to get information, possibly about the Griffin Wing,
Yeah.
and see if he's heard any rumors about Drallion. And I don't know. I was going to ask him more about his business.
Yeah. I mean, I
'Cause,
guess.
I mean, he's like one of the more successful people in town, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's kind of what I gathered.
I mean, he's on the town council.
Yeah, and the other one that was on the council
Is.
there was the Copperlocks, who was the mining
Mhm.
woman, right?
Yep.
And then Dave, Ida Owland,
Mm-hmm.
what was she affiliated with?
She's also on the town council. She owns a couple of large fishing boats.
Okay. So both her and Solmar are in like there's the fishing industry,
Yes.
you could say.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
And,
then the dandy, Galen Primewater.
Yeah, Gellin Prime Water. Did we ever like really know what his business was?
Not really, but you've talked to him a couple of times at the council hall.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's
I mean, I think if anything, we could at least find out some more possibly. about
yeah,
where this
absolutely.
boat-
Let's swing by the council hall, I guess. If he's not there, they'll probably know where to find him.
Sure.
All right, so you head back to the council hall, which you've been in a couple of different times now, and you walk in. Doors open. You walk in, and you're greeted by the receptionist woman who you've started to become acquainted with now. This kind of little bit older lady, white hair pulled back in a bun. Well, gentlemen, how can I help you today?
Yes. Hello, Rhunar Deg. I was hoping that we could meet with Anders Solmorp today.
Oh, Anders. Well, he won't be in here today. There's no council business at the moment, but you could look for him out at his place.
Yes. Could you
oh,
tell us where that
yes.
is?
Yes, absolutely. Just past the Dwarven Anvil before you get to the Mariners Guild Hall.
Ah, okay. Kind of near the fishmonger's plants. Oh,
Yep.
Saltmarsh House. I see it now. Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll look there.
Oh, Soul. I was thinking it was spelled differently.
Yeah, me too. Solmor. Yeah.
Number 20
think I
on the
wrote-
map.
Solmor.
Nice.
20.
I've been saying it. I've been writing it Soulmoor.
This is gray building? This big gray thing?
Man, this guy's living
Yeah.
large.
There's like a complex of buildings.
Yeah, it's a sizable. All right, let's go check it out.
All right, so you head there.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
She says, "You're welcome. Have a good day, fellas. Have fun out there." You make your way down the road and into the Solmar house, to the Solmar house, and there are people bustling about, people carrying, it looks like fresh food into the building, as if there's maybe getting ready for something. There seems to be a lot of activity going on. And you look upon this place, and it is not quite as garish as Drallion's estate. It's a little bit more subdued, but there's several buildings in this complex. You can see that near some of these outbuildings there's like a line with there aren't any clothes on the line, but there's like a drying line. So it looks like these are maybe like servants' quarters. There's also a building in front of the house that seems to be pretty active with people inside. You can hear voices inside. and there are a couple of men's voices having a conversation.
This
There
is like
are-
a side building.
Yeah, it's kind of like in front of the mansion. So it's, if you're looking at the map, it's like it's this building here, this little like
That
rectangular.
little thing.
And then these over here appear to be like servants' quarters.
Oh, we're kind of coming from behind.
Yeah, you guys kind of came in this way.
Okay.
From the town side, not the
Yep,
Drallion
Yeah.
field.
Okay. Not from the road.
right.
Okay.
But I mean, it looks like that's a common way to approach, right?
There, you can get there from either side. The main like sort of like
right.
formal entry is on the west side of the complex.
Right.
But there is a well-worn path and like roadway through here, with people coming and going to the town.
Mm.
Because it's a path of least resistance, shortest
Right.
distance.
Right. I guess we should just go to this like smaller building and see if there's someone that looks like they're kind of like barking out orders or in charge, and see if they can direct us to Anders, or if we can see him.
All right,
Yeah.
so you walk up to the building, and as you're just kind of standing there, one of the guys kind of notices you and looks out and says, "How can I help you?" And he
Yes.
steps out onto the ground, so he's standing there with you too.
Hello. We were wondering if we could speak with Anders.
Do you have
Mr.
some kind of an appointment with Mr. Solmar?
No, we don't, unfortunately.
Who can I tell him is calling?
Tell him Rhunar Deg is here to see him.
Very well. Just wait here. And he disappears into the main building, and he's gone for a couple minutes. During that time, you can see that this building appears to be like a meeting space. As you kind of peek your head in, you can see that there's a couple of gentlemen that are sitting at this table. They seem to be working on some sort of a collaborative project, having discussions. You look a little bit more close and you can see that there's a relatively well-drawn map of the region that's on one of the walls, and there's one of the guys that's kind of standing up putting pins in the map. And it looks like business is being handled inside this building. A couple minutes passed, and the gentleman that you had spoken with comes out and says, "Rhunar Deg, Solmar will be happy to receive you in on the front deck if you'd like." And he says, "Follow me." And so he walks you underneath this sort of like, I guess it would be sort of like this outside hallway that goes through the building but doesn't actually go into the building. Kind of goes under this overhanging roof structure, and then
Courtyard.
yeah, kind of a courtyard, and then it kind of pops out into on the front side of the building here, where there is a sort of a large seating area affixed to the front of the house, and you can see as you approach the recognizable face of Anders. He is modestly dressed. His hair is combed straight back, brown, kind of shiny. He's got this really big smile on his face, sharp features, toothy smile. And as you come up, he reaches out his hand and says, Rhunar Deg, to what do I owe this wonderful surprise? Gentlemen, please sit. And
Thank
you
you.
see that there's a couple of chairs around a table, and there are some filled glasses in front of you. He says, freshly made lemonade. Help yourself,
thank you.
please.
This looks marvelous.
Yes, I'm just taking a little break from work. That your timing was perfect.
Thank you for meeting with us. I know this was somewhat sudden, short notice.
That's fine. To have an opportunity to chat with you is well worth it, my friend. Tell me, what have you and your compatriots been up to the last few days since you've returned from the Abbey Isle?
Well, we've been looking around for work and, trying to stay out of trouble. But actually, what brings us here today is my friend Irin here. I don't know if you remember back when we met with you
Yes, of course, of course.
at the city council building. You said that you might be able to look into this boat that his brother was on.
Ah, yes, the
Griffin's
Griffin
Wing.
Wing. Indeed.
We were wondering if you had any information for that boat and what happened to it.
I did inquire with some of my contacts in the region. It seems as though there's not a lot of information about the Griffin Wing. What I was able to find out is that it is helmed by a man whose name is Solana. I don't know if you've heard this name before, Vincent Solana.
Vincent.
You broke up a little bit there, Dave.
Yeah, Vincent Solana.
He was the captain?
Yeah. Other than that, I'm afraid I couldn't really find any additional information. Of course, my network is not that broad and vast, but it appears as though the ship has been here in Saltmarsh before, and that's about all I can tell you, I'm afraid.
How long ago was it here? Do you know?
That I'm not sure. All I know is that people have said that they've seen the ship in port, but not for some time.
So
Wow.
you don't know if it's still out there sailing.
That I don't. I would assume it is, but I don't know much of the reputation of this Captain Solana, or what types of business dealings he engages in. It's not a fishing vessel. Otherwise, I would probably have heard a little bit more about it. I'm afraid
Well,
that's all I can help you with.
it's something. It's more than I had before.
Well, that's good to hear. You say you're looking for work.
Yes. We have
I
been looking
don't know
around
if
a
you've
bit.
noticed recently, but the military presence in Saltmarsh has markedly increased over the last few days. In fact, it appears, as I noticed this morning, that the Myrmidon is back in port. Now, with 2 ships in port and the...
They just left, didn't they?
Well,
And they
they're
came back?
they're here this morning. I'm not sure. There are 2 naval ships in port right now.
Yeah, the Myrmidon left 2 days ago. If it's back already.
Rhunar, you would probably remember when you had the conversation with Tarn at the fight pit. He had also mentioned that the Myrmidon
I
had
remember
returned.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. I was just kind of playing dumb to see if you could
He's
knew
like-
why they were back.
I don't know how much you've been told about the situation, but I guess I might as well tell you. It can't hurt anything. We had uncovered a bit of a smuggling operation not long before you had returned to Saltmarsh with Drallion's items. And, well, let's just put it this way. We were under the impression that there was an imminent attack on Saltmarsh coming from a lizard folk lair just outside of Saltmarsh. You may have heard of this.
Yes, that's what you guys asked us about when we were meeting with you before.
We did end up sending a group of mercenaries to investigate, with the hopes that they could gather some information that might help us with our defenses. And oddly enough, it turns out that the lizard folk lair were not planning some sort of an attack on Saltmarsh. In fact, they were seeking to arm themselves to protect themselves from the Sahawin that apparently are building their army for an attack on the region. That is why I believe the Navy is here, is to protect Saltmarsh from this potential attack. I don't know if there's any work in that for you, but I would assume that a group of your skill set could be immensely useful to that defense. If you're interested, I could potentially look into connecting you with some of the decision makers. They have been meeting with the town council pretty regularly, and it might be a good place to look for work.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we may be interested in that. Do you know if they're if the Navy is going to be here for some time now? Are they planning on leaving again anytime soon?
What I don't know is whether or not they're developing their own plans for a preemptive strike on the Sahuagin. I'm not privy to that information, so I don't know.
Can you tell me anything about this Sahuagin threat? Who are these people? I don't know much about them.
They are amazingly effective warriors that inhabit coastal areas. They have been in this region for some time, but they have never, in my lifetime, posed much of a threat to any of the settlements in this area. However, that said, they are extremely dangerous, and we are worried about the people of Saltmarsh. Things are going so well here. We hope that the Navy will do something. I hate the idea of waiting around for something to happen.
Yes, it does sound like serious business.
It's a serious threat, and I shudder to think the damage that they could do to our town.
What's their deal?
It's hard to say. I don't know much about their internal politics or motivations. All I know is that they're savage warriors, and my guess, quite possibly. I mean, there is much wealth that has started to accumulate in this part of the kingdom, especially now with the Dwarven mine starting to show great promise. The fishing has been exceptionally well, which I give thanks for every day. It could be simple expansionism, it could be something else, but regardless of their motivation, we believe that this intelligence is actionable and that something needs to be done. We have sent word to Nile Draw with requests for the king to send more support to Saltmarsh and Seaton. But these are decisions that are much higher than my pay grade. I can only hope for the best. But it could pose an opportunity for enterprising group like yours, Rhunar. Something to think about, that's all. I mention it only for your potential benefit.
Yes, well, I appreciate that.
Other than that, is there anything else that I can help you with?
What do you think, Irin?
You may or may not know, but we're looking a bit into this Drallion thing.
Yes, his murder. It's unfortunate.
Were you good friends with Aubric?
I mean, we weren't close, but I know of the man. I've spent time with him. He has always been very kind to me and my family.
Did you do business together?
No, we are in very different spheres of business. I focus more on fishing. His seems to be more of a transportation and merchant vessels. Very different business. He was very successful with it, that's for sure. Which I was very happy for him that he had started to rebuild after being I guess, having business problems for the last couple of years. It seems as though he had really started to turn things around.
Right. Did you hear anything by chance about what those business problems were?
I really don't know much of the internal dealings of. As he starts to answer you, another figure walks out of the house and steps closer to you, and you can see it's this well-dressed man with a very finely groomed mustache that sort of sticks out the sides of his face a little bit longer than it should, and he's got this gray hair that's kind of slicked back and held in a really short ponytail, a little bit older, and he says, "Master Anders, we have that business meeting to attend, sir, if you don't mind. Gentlemen, I will have to pull him away from you." And he says, yes, I'll be right with you. I'll be right with you. Very good, sir. And this man steps away. And Anders says, "There's always something to do around here, it certainly seems, but business is good, and I'm thankful for that. Listen, gentlemen, I do have to be going. I would love to chat with you more sometime. Please do stop back, and I'd love to hear more stories of your adventures. I know that you've had some great adventures, both of you. So please do stop back."
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. And, if you hear anything else about the Griffin's Wing, please let us know.
I certainly will.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Good day, gentlemen.
I'm just going to chug my lemonade now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are
Take
you
off.
going to head back to the snapping line?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So while everybody else is reconverging on the snapping line, we'll go back to Byron. So you're spending some time examining the journal, and you just did an investigation check for that. Is that correct? Yep. Okay, got it. All right, so 15, nice. That's basically the minimum what you needed to be able to decipher. So you are going to get. I'm going to get you this one, entry number 2. All right, there you go. You were able to tease apart the meaning of the second entry in the book, in the journal. And I just shared that with you.
Yep, I see that. Ooh. All right, and I'm assuming that's pretty much going to take as much time as it takes them to go do their thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
So now we're all at the snapping line?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll have been doing all that in my room too. So
Okay.
basically, I'll get there, I'll walk to my room, put my bags down, sit down, and then years of doing this kind of stuff for work, I just do it.
Yeah, research is not a strange thing for you. You've done quite a bit of it.
Even though I'm not necessarily very good at it in comparison to my.
Well, it might not come as naturally to you as it does for others.
Right.
All right, so the 4 of you converge in the snapping line, probably in the bar area, the pub.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hello.
And
Hello.
I'm assuming that as soon as I finish this journal entry, I'll pop down. So I don't know if they'll already be there or.
Yeah, they're there when you walk down.
Okay, cool. I'll pop over to those guys.
So, I have a favor to ask.
Go on.
It's a favor because I cannot pay. Shanker.
Hmm.
He has a job he would like me to do to ensure that to begin being loyal, as it were, as is often done in these organizations, apparently. Which is something that sounds very simple, which means it's of course can go horribly wrong. The job is to be outside of this wonderful bar at midnight, and when we see a lovely half-orc by the name of Crag, who I believe Irin may know in passing, we're to just escort him and make sure he makes it to the docks unmolested and keep an eye out while he conducts whatever it is he's going to do. Now, that is all shady as hell, but it's been what I've asked to do. And if I'm going to continue pursuing a relationship with Shanker to learn anything he knows, I need to do it.
Right.
See,
Are you in?
I mean, if it's one thing I've kind of figured out, I'm just kind of speaking kind of hush-hush right now. I would imagine they're most likely smuggling something down around the area of the docks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be something like that, or stealing something off of a boat. Weren't we offered a job from him that night?
Yep.
That fateful night.
Yep.
Didn't he offer us work at the dock, and then we later found out a bunch of mining equipment went stolen?
Yep. Oh wait, no, I don't know anything about that.
Shut up, Farendir.
But yes.
Farendir from beyond goes, yes, my
Farendir's
friend.
Yes,
whispered in our
we
ears.
did do that.
So I imagine it's something along those lines. But yes, as you said, it may not be as easy as it sounds.
But are you
Is
willing
Byron-
to do it?
Is Byron downstairs with us right now?
Yes, yeah, I'm down with you.
Were you able to tease any more information out of that journal?
Well, I do have one question. Does the word Tomoa-chan sound?
Fuck you.
Or to any of you?
No.
Tomoa-chan?
No.
Well, it was worth a shot.
So-
I spent some time studying, but I just have more questions than answers, to be honest.
Is that a name or a place? What is that?
Well, as far as I can tell, it may be a place west of here, but it also may be a people west of here. A lost civilization, maybe, known as the Olman. And actually, no, Tomoa-chan. It's a city. Um, it's from an old journal by actually a seeker from my home, Gradsul, named Tiberian Matreus. But unfortunately, I don't have his journal with me. I only know of this through this journal. But I believe it is west of here. It mentions reptiles, a reptilian civilization of intelligent lizards.
It could be the lizard folk that we hear about. Yeah.
What lizard folk?
It's like further down the coast. I don't know if it's west. I guess it would be south, right? South of Saltmarsh.
West and south, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the compass. West is
Yeah.
actually inland, or south is inland.
Before our infamous trip to the Abbey Island, we were offered a job by the city council to go check out these lizard folk. It was said that it was thought that they were gathering arms for a possible attack on Saltmarsh, but actually that It's funny you mentioned that. Irin and I just found out from Anders Salmore that it turns out it wasn't the lizard folk. They were preparing to defend themselves from another threat, which Saltmarsh is now looking at as a possible threat to them as well. It's this group called the Sahagwin. Have you ever heard
that's
of them?
not good.
The
What are Sahagwin?
They are awful fish monsters.
You know of them?
I've sailed on a lot of ships. I've heard about them. That they're awful fish monsters that come out of the sea with big pointy teeth and eat you. And that is the extent of what they have told me.
Ugh. That does not sound good.
No.
Apparently, that might be why the Navy is back in town.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting in the good way or interesting in the, oh, we're screwed kind of way?
Interesting in that it's just information that we are taking in.
Well, I just mentioned in passing that we're, kind of looking for work in the area, and so Anders proposed that we check with the Navy to see if we could, possibly aid them in this issue with the Sahagwin. But, I don't want to, I feel like this Drallion issue is more important, especially if the Navy's in town right now.
I agree with you about it being more important, but do we have an idea of where to go from here?
That's the case. So if we want to tease any more information out of this journal, or do you think we need to go to Gradzul?
I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I think we could definitely get information from going to Gradzul. It is my home, and I am very familiar with it. I have many connections there, but I'm not sure all of these things are not connected in some way. And honestly, I would like to avenge Drallion. I would like to find the murderer before we go to Gradzul, so when I do go back, I can bring good news.
Yes.
I can get behind that.
And if you're sure that Shankar, whatever his name is going to give you information just by following a guy to the docks.
I can't say for certain he's going to tell me anything, and it certainly isn't going to be in the next day or two. I'm probably going to have to do a couple of favors for him.
Well, we could do this favor, and then if he doesn't tell anything, we can ask him a different way.
Yep, totally understand that. That doesn't preclude talking to the military to see what they are doing either.
No.
None of the three things preclude each other at the moment. Unless, of course, it's a combat mission deep into the heart of the Sea Prince territory, in which case, well, sign me up, but I don't think that's happening.
Well, the one thing I will say, Drallion's journal mentions these lizards that you were talking about. And if these lizards are in any way connected to this invasion from the sea of these monsters, these sanguilan things, I think maybe, both options work for me. I would be down to try and get information from Shankar. I would also be down to ask the Navy if they would like help.
Why not both?
Yeah, we're not going to talk to the Navy after midnight, are we?
No.
We could maybe talk to them now.
Wait, was he suggesting we talk to the Navy or the town council?
I guess
Anders?
I can't really.
Yeah.
He had offered to make that connection for you if you wanted it.
Right.
To connect with the Navy to see if there was any opportunities there to help.
Oh, then okay.
I do feel like early in meeting Irin, you said, or no, wait, no, I don't know if that was.
It could have been Rhunar. You never know.
It could have been Rhunar too. I know one of you said you didn't want to join. No, it was you. I know it was Irin. I know your voice.
We didn't want
You said you didn't want to
join
join
the
the
Navy.
Navy.
It's true. I don't want to join the Navy.
No.
But would you? Are you
I think-
against helping them?
Yeah, we could. I guess there's no harm in speaking with them.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna help us further this Drallion issue, though.
Hmm.
I just, if we get involved in that now, it might pull us away from, the progress we've been making, trying to figure out what happened to him. I still think it has something to do with these investments that he made that tanked his business. But
No, you're probably right.
Someone's brother.
And see, myself, I think Sophia's involved.
right, but
It's
how
hard to
prove-
say how,
prove
but
such a thing?
specifically though. That's what I'd like to find out.
Right?
I think
There
you're
must
right.
be a connection.
Well, just the fact that this artifact was still there in the house. Initially, I thought, given the value of this thing and its magical power, that was why he got killed. But
Still might be.
whoever,
Well, as far as
it
I
still
can
might
tell,
be. I guess it still might be. But whoever went to do it didn't know how to find it.
right? And as far as I can tell, they didn't. That room was untouched when I searched it.
Right.
All the papers were scattered about. There was a dagger on the table, and the box was literally just sitting under the desk, and I just grabbed it all.
She may not know where it is.
Yes.
I'm sure
might
if-
not have even known.
If the family was involved in the business, she has a vested interest in wrapping this up very smoothly, very quietly, maybe finding a patsy or two, depending on how underhanded she is. I don't know. And trying to move forward with her business. So she at least has that motivation for her actions. Whether or not that also means she knows who killed him or was involved is a separate story, and I don't think we know enough details to ascribe that motivation yet, if you will.
Well, I definitely think she was lying to us about the family helping.
No,
Right.
definitely.
Is it safe to assume that she essentially inherited all of his wealth here in Saltmarsh? His property and his assets?
De facto, she is. She's the one here.
Yeah, she seems to be sitting on them now.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Dave. Would that be accurate?
Yes, you would know that she has come down here to essentially to take over the reins, whether that's a long-term arrangement or short-term, you're not sure. But yeah, the purpose of her coming to Saltmarsh from Gradzul was to essentially maintain the business operations.
And that'd be the West Wind.
West
so the
Wind Trading
Wind,
Company. Yep.
You're still kind of doing business and everything.
Yep.
Not, okay.
That's what they're trying to, they're trying to
Keep it afloat.
keep it going and not have things fall apart because of the recent wins that they've been having.
Right. So, it's hard to say that she would necessarily benefit beyond, just already having all this wealth in her family.
But I don't know if that wealth is from her family. And I will take out
Regardless.
Drallion's journal, and I will read the last page of the first entry.
Okay.
And I will read, Armand agrees with my contention that there is much more behind the green curtain than we suspect, and I have requested authorization and financial support from the lodge to mount an expedition. This is directly relating to, you know what? I'll just open up the page. I'll just let him read all 3 pages.
Okay. Let me give that to everybody.
Yeah.
We can read.
You can read if you want
I
to.
can read good.
You can leave your friends behind.
All
The
right.
Marines taught me how to read.
Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. All right, you guys should have access to those first 3 pages now. Did you want to share the second entry with them too that you uncovered, or no?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
At this point, I'm already broken a few of the rules with the Seekers.
So those are the first 2 entries out of the journal that have been deciphered. I'm gonna grab a beverage real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the exact same. I will also be right back.
I'm gonna just hang out here, read some paper, think deep thoughts.
I'm gonna remind myself that I don't want to go back to Tomoe-chan.
Do you know what Tomoe-chan is?
My character does not.
But you do.
I do. It's
Okay.
the what is it? The Lost Tomb of Tomoe-chan it's a classic like first edition OD&D
Oh Lord.
adventure.
What now?
What's this peninsula? A Medio Peninsula? Hell furnaces?
No metagaming now, Chad.
Who fucking writes this stuff? Hell furnaces?
Probably dead guys.
Where are these places? Are these places
They're
anyone's
actually
heard
on
of?
the map. I don't know. In my character, having been a sailor for some time on this side of the world, heard of any of the places in these notes?
Possibly. Roll a history check.
Okay, so
Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Well,
So you know, let's see. Let me make sure that I don't give away information that's not actually in these articles. That would be silly.
Good luck.
I know.
oh no.
All right, so we've got the Amedio Peninsula. You believe that refers to the Amedio jungle, which is to the south. It's on the western extent of the Azure Sea, but it's south, very far south of where you are now.
The player sees it on the map. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
And the dense jungle
jeez.
reference would make sense because that area is very tropical, dense rainforest, from what you've heard, and you have heard of the Hell Furnaces as well, which is a giant mountain range that runs a pretty substantial length from the Jeklia Sea all the way down to almost all the way down to the Pearl Sea.
yeah, it's that mountain range that pretty much abuts everything. Once you get south of,
bisects the continent.
Yep.
Yeah, it's bloody huge.
And abuts the Sea of Dust.
Yep.
Which the player doesn't know what that is either, so that works out. Whatever the Sea of Dust is.
That's about what you get out of those different geographical features.
That makes sense. So Theo will in fact promptly just go, okay, so if you sail a couple of weeks to the south along the Azure Sea, it all turns into horrible killer jungle. And that is the Amedio Peninsula. And if you get really unlucky and survive the jungle, I am told on the other side, there's mountains called the Hell Furnace Mountains, and I don't want to know anything else about mountains called the Hell Furnace Mountains.
Seems shitty. Huh.
Certainly not good.
it's all pirate-controlled territory down there too, right?
This is the other side of the pirates. These are the things that are so bad the pirates can't take care of them.
I mean, are pirates really known for taking care of a lot of things? Certainly not priests on an island.
They've been kicking the ass of the Kalish Navy, so
Yeah, that's at sea though. At sea.
Where's Saltmarsh? Okay. So who are the Who are the Sea Princes?
That is a confederacy of pirates that have done a pretty good job of disrupting and co-opting trade routes in the southwestern extent of the Azure Sea.
It looks like they have.
And they have, in the past, they have really wreaked havoc on the Keeland economy by intercepting merchant ships along that western coast essentially between Seaton, Saltmarsh, and Gradzul to the north. More recently, the king, Kimbertos Scioti, has allocated resources to help to build up the naval presence along those trade routes to try and push back some of the gains that the Sea Princes have had over the last decade or so.
You've probably fought them as a Marine.
Right. Yeah, and certainly, Rhunar, you've done battle with these guys before when you were enlisted.
Okay. So I would know that they have. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong area. Sorry. Where was the Medio?
You can roll a history check if you want to see if you know anything about that area. It's not a real high likelihood that you would.
But he might have heard fish tales.
Yeah, maybe.
They're like DuckTales. Woo.
No, you don't know a lot about the region to the south. You haven't traveled that far, and you've never really met anybody that's told you too many stories about the vast jungles to the south. But you have fought pirates.
Definitely fought pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Killed by pirates is good.
All right. Well, I guess it's very interesting.
That I wonder if Mr. Drallion's recent acquisition that possibly got him killed or not might not be from that area. I don't know if that helps us or not, but
From what
Well,
area?
it's possible.
the peninsula and the jungle.
Based on your cursory examination of that journal, Byron, you get the sense that there's a lot more information in there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna go. I honestly don't want to leave Saltmarsh quite yet. I think what we should do is continue to follow leads that we find, stay useful and helpful for the town, and I will continue to study this journal and hopefully we can find more information. And if after a couple days we don't get enough information, I say we sail to Gradzul.
Okay.
That sounds like a plan. So, to be useful in town, do we want to talk to the Navy about helping deal with the murder fish people? Or do we want to go talk to the nice dwarves and deal with their undead problem? We'll try something else.
Well, talking to the Navy isn't a bad idea. We don't necessarily need to commit to anything. And they're just a little ways down the road.
Yes, this issue at the mine has been pressing for some time too as well. You know, it might go a long way as far as, connections around here to help them out.
Right. The mine, how far away is it from Saltmarsh, where we're at?
It's like a mile or two, right, Dave?
Yeah,
It's farther than that. It's like 8.5 miles. It's about a day's journey, from what you've heard.
not too far out of town, though.
And that would be kind of like we'd probably have to find somebody connected with the mind and let them know we're gonna go help them, right? Like, I don't think we could just show up.
I mean, we could talk to what's her face? Gold locks.
Manistrid copper locks.
Copper locks.
Yeah.
Let's well, what do you guys want to do? What do you think?
Well, do we think Theo should follow this through tonight
Um,
to try to get an in with the smuggling side of Saltmarsh?
oh, you guys need an in with the smugglers?
Well, it might not hurt to have, I guess,
Theo seems to think that they might have some different information about Drallion that we wouldn't get other places.
Is a suspicion.
that might not be, so much available to the town's guard, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But what would it lose us if things went south and we were
Well,
adjacent?
Guys.
yeah, I don't know if I should be showing my face down there.
Right.
Yeah.
Out of character, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
With my background, I have the low places connections.
Okay.
Under shipwright low places, I have connections. Here, I'll send it to you in whisper. I'm lagging a little bit though, sorry.
That's okay. Okay. Yep.
Could I hypothetically use that to
You could certainly try.
let me talk to some of my contacts. I might know some of these smugglers, and we might be able to get some information from them. But I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't follow this guy Schenker wants you to follow as well. But I also have connections with this group of people. So I'd be happy to help you tonight following that gentleman.
I was going to say,
On his
Theo,
way
do
to
you
the
feel
docks.
comfortable going by yourself?
He said probably bring a couple of guys, so I'm thinking I probably need to bring a couple of guys. He already also knew I knew Irin at least as well. So it could just be me, Irin, and Byron. And you could have a nice beverage.
Isn't this Craig the one that Irin beat down pretty hard not long ago?
Yeah.
I don't know if
beat this guy up.
I don't know if Irin and I should be there, given their opinion of me, and most likely of Irin as well.
Theo, how do you feel about following them solo, and I will sneak and follow you?
That's what I was going to suggest.
Well,
Maybe.
it's more of an escort, but I can do it alone then.
If you do it alone, I'll follow at a distance and make sure you're safe.
Okay, we'll roll with that.
As far as this Craig guy goes, meh.
All right. Maybe the other two should follow a distance as well, and if things go south and we need help, you showed up to help. You're doing good guard work.
Yeah, you were simply going on a midnight stroll.
Yep.
Two young lovers.
Heard a commotion. What goes on there? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so we'll do that. What are we doing about either of the other two things? Anything? Because we do have time for midnight.
Let's just touch base with the Navy.
I'm interested in that.
Super close.
Okay.
It's super close.
We
This
talk to the Navy.
Sahaugen threat seems
If
Big.
they are in fact murderous
Certainly
fish
got the-
people, yeah.
It certainly has the town council very concerned, I'll tell you that.
Yes, and getting on good terms with the council can only be beneficial for us.
Although I'm a little surprised I haven't heard anything from Captain Fireborn about it. I'm surprised he hasn't mentioned it.
he's a busy man.
He actually did mention it.
Oh, did he?
When you guys, do you remember when you guys followed him to the Who'll Watch Tower?
Yeah.
Like probably
Yeah.
2 days ago, but like
it was right after we got back from the Abbey.
Yeah, it's
probably.
when you check the job board and you saw like the Crabber's Cove thing and the Dwarven Mine stuff. He had actually mentioned that there was something afoot, and that's why you were gonna go meet the town council that evening, but you didn't show up because you guys were in Crabber's Cove releasing a vampire into Saltmarsh.
Listen. I think releasing a vampire
That's strong. That's strong.
is very strong language.
Yeah.
Only Theo can identify with that language.
Wow.
You guys released
Under the
a
bus, right
vampire?
under there.
That's funny.
Byron's over here like, what did I get myself into?
There are no vampires in Ba Sing Se. In Saltmarsh. I'm in Saltmarsh.
Yes.
All right.
There's also no virus there.
So the plan, as I understand it, is to have a conversation with the Navy, and then later in the evening do the Krebs side job.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So that is the plan.
good. Well, I'll get that ready for next session then.
We
Session.
have a plan. How
Yay!
could this go wrong?
Yes.
Huzzah.
We have gone what three sessions now without any combat. I think.
Yeah.
Well, we did have.
What about the
some
Fight
fighting
Club?
last
That was.
session.
But that was a
Rhunar needs to
real
slash
combat.
something pretty soon.
On the other hand, we don't talk about Fight Club. So, did we really?
That's true.
I mean, I talk about Fight Club all the time. I have like coffee chats about it. Do you not?
I think the last time you guys had a full-scale combat was when you released the vampire and got your
Yeah.
bard killed.
Whoa.
They're still we're all still traumatized. Nobody wants to go
Careful
into fights.
how loudly you say that.
I'm gonna say, in 25 years of playing D&D and other role-playing games, that's definitely one of the top 10 boneheaded maneuvers one of my characters has done. Just
Wow.
FYI.
Well, what happens, and
Yeah.
it will. I'm sure it will add some additional flavor to future encounters.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Flavor.
I'm just glad we didn't see that guy today.
Right.
He only comes out at night.
Oh shit. That's
Oh
true.
fuck.
Oh,
You better not be down at the dock.
If he's down at the docks,
You know what? We're done
if
here.
he's down at the docks, he can have crack, and we'll go kill Kreb Shankar, and nobody will be the wiser.
Wait, is his name Crack?
Yeah.
Crag, I think, or Crack, yeah.
Crag.
No,
I
he
thought
used
it
to be
was
called.
Craig.
He used to be called Crag, but then I beat his ass so bad, he's just Crack.
You cracked him up.
Yeah.
You did punch him in the dick really hard.
A lot. I'd like more than once.
A fury of blows to the dick.
Yeah.
So
That's effective.
if you guys want to pull more information from that journal, it just takes, like I was saying, either a short or a long rest with focus on the journal itself.
Okay.
And anybody can do that. I mean, obviously, Byron, it's in Byron's possession, so you guys would have to work that out in game.
Yeah, he's really weird about it. His secret handshake club.
Keeps
Yeah,
calling
secret
it
handshake.
We get it.
Well, I mean, in the end, I would be turning it in, so I wouldn't want it damaged or destroyed.
That's fair.
All right. We'll just need to.
And I did just meet you guys less than 24 hours earlier.
Yeah, we
But
need
we
to
were
kill
fast
more
friends.
things
But
with
then we also have since then
been in a fight club.
engaged in Fight Club, so we're best friends
And
now.
breaking and entering.
That is
I mean,
true.
yeah.
That is
Blackmail
no
alone
stronger bond.
binds us
Not to
together.
mention, not to mention that sweet stealth mission.
Oh yes. Did you guys watch that on YouTube?
Yeah.
No. Oh,
Yeah.
no, I didn't. I didn't realize that's what that was. I need to go
Yeah.
listen to it now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you should check it
It
out.
was
It's
so
pretty good.
fun. Yeah, I was like rolling chairs around and like,
Little fucking Splinter Cell action.
yeah, I felt pretty badass.
It was pretty stealthy.
Nice.
Sweet, guys. Well, As always, it's a pleasure.
It was good.
I'm looking forward to the next session.
We're shaping up to maybe actually start doing things. We can do it. I believe in us.
Again, doing things again. Hopefully to completion.
Right.
Yes.
Oh,
Completion would be good.
I'm a go now
Everybody likes completion.
with full release.
I was looking at when the last time you guys leveled up, it was like
Yeah.
5 sessions ago.
I know.
Yeah.
And
It's about time for a new level.
yeah, you guys need to.
Well, we've-
Unfortunately, I'm more of a milestone kind of guy.
Yep.
Right.
So
Hey,
That's fine.
Hey,
We should
we've
keep
made a
the
decision on
milestone.
what to do next. That's kind of a milestone for us.
that's true.
Oh,
Finished Fight Club.
We did finish Fight Club.
One
That's
of the
true.
grand
Finish that.
champions.
You
we
did.
have a new champion.
So
Pretty sure
theoretically,
Rhunar shut that down. Was
But that would
was
only be one of
Rhunar-
us. Wait a second.
Was Rhunar like noticeably like more famous today?
oh yeah, you could see as you walked through town, people were like pointing you out and like trying to. They were talking about you as you walked by.
damn Rhunar Dag.
Yeah.
It's hard to get more famous in this town. You were already super famous, but now you've got even more like street cred.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like Rhunar, you could literally just walk up to Krebshenker and say, listen, you're going to tell me what happened to Albrecht Drallion, or I'm going to take your hands. And he would tell you.
Well, he's got fellas too. You know, he's got like a
Yeah,
crew.
but I mean, look at his fella couldn't even not get his dick punched into his throat.
That's true.
Make a run for town council.
Like, they probably brought their biggest, baddest guy, and you literally punched him in the dick so hard he threw up.
It's true.
Well, that was Irin.
When we run on to for the town council,
Right.
we can definitely be the scimitars and dick punch party.
Right.
I back this party and deeply support it.
I would vote for
Like-
that.
Everyone in town gets a scimitar, and if you don't like it, you get a dick punch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you and Irin, Rhunar and Irin could go into Kreb and be like, listen, Rhunar could be like, I'm Irin's bodyguard. And like, you're gonna tell us everything we want to know. And he'd be like, oh God, you're protecting the guy who punched my strongest guy down into the ground. And I've heard all of the stories.
Well,
And
he
I
was
saw you
there. He was at
Defeat
Fight Club.
the champion.
Yeah.
Like, he knows.
That's true. I might have like an intimidation factor at this point. At least advantage on that kind of roll, right, Dave?
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, don't let your fame go to waste, because when we
Right.
get to Grad School or wherever we go, nobody's going to know your name.
If only we had a bard to spread that shit.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Oh, wait, he died.
Mm.
Aww. Okay, I'm sad now. Thanks for
I
the
mean-
sad.
On the other hand, if we help take care of this Sahaugen thing, maybe our fame will spread. Maybe that's a big thing.
Again,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
out of character, we could use a win. So pursuing one of those two to completion is a good call.
Yep,
Because
I
we
agree.
people need a win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I was kind of considering this mine thing, because maybe that wouldn't get us too deep into something and it'd be a win.
Hmm.
But that's optimistic. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
never
ultimately, we could talk to everybody. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Next time, we'll see what the Navy has to say.
Yeah, let's start
And
with the
maybe
Navy
we'll
and the
see
Kreb.
what the miner lady has
So,
to say.
Prepare a
compromised.
bunch of more conversations.
So spend another
And-
4 hours in Saltmarsh trying
and
to
some
figure out what to
and
do.
some combat.
Oh,
Uh,
so-
Oh, God.
guys, we got to get into combat. Let's.
We gotta pull the trigger on something.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna pull the trigger on crack tomorrow night.
That's a good call.
All right, I propose that if nothing happens after this meeting, like if Theo
Then we
doesn't
go to the
benefit,
mines.
and then yeah, I guess
Yes.
we see where the thing with Theo goes, and then
If
go
it
to the
doesn't pan
mines.
out, no salt off my back. And if
If Krebs still doesn't trust him after that, maybe I could go stick a knife in his jib.
I like
Yeah.
that.
See
I
if
like
he
that.
says anything.
well, and the other
So we
thing is,
talk to him, intimidate him.
the
We let him.
Navy might not
We
be
give him a
easy for
chance to
couple days.
trust Theo,
Oh
and then
god,
if he doesn't,
fair enough.
Then we
Yeah,
make him regret it.
If the Navy isn't leaving for a couple of days, that might be time to go take care of the mine.
Yeah.
We don't know what the Navy's timetable is, but
Yeah.
it's the Navy, so I imagine it'll take a while.
Well, they might just tell us to screw off, you know?
right? Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Red Crows. What do
We
you
are the
think you're
Navy. It's not, I don't know if they really need our help. You know what I mean? But you never know.
Maybe they need somebody expendable though.
True.
I like the idea though of you beating up Kreb. I don't like that guy. Like, I mean, this is out of character. I don't like that guy.
Well,
He
he's
is kind of
definitely
a dick.
shady.
I want him to get beat up.
Well, he's definitely shady, and he's definitely there's a ring in Saltmarsh.
We're gonna find out he's a vampire.
I wonder where the vampires live now.
Probably Abbey Isle.
Right. If I was a vampire, that's where I would live.
Mhm.
You don't think he just like went back to his little crypt in the beach?
He
You know,
probably goes there during the day.
But if that's his prison, not that I know about vampires, but if that was
Yeah.
his prison, he probably doesn't want to hang out there. But I don't know much about vampires.
Yeah. I guess Rhunar is not supposed to know it either.
Hey, you can
I
always go
am
back
learning
and
about
check it out.
vampires by watching What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
Oh,
I mean, that's very
Jesus.
educational about modern.
Very
vampire
educational
life.
about vampires.
Runar also sort of does not want to run into that guy at all for quite some time.
Yep. Maybe
yeah,
a
that's
level or
fine.
two.
Yeah.
Maybe once we get some magic items, whatever those are.
I'm
I
a
can help
magic
you with
guy.
that. Here, take
Yeah.
this scimitar, which I think is magical, but don't actually know if it's magical. But I'm anticipating that it's magical.
I'm sure hoping it's magical.
It would be nice if it was magical.
I cannot identify it. I was never very good at studying.
You know what's hilarious is that there were some pretty useful magic items on the Emperor of Waves that you guys didn't look for. You guys didn't when you guys were on
There
that.
was an
That
octopus.
sunken.
You
yeah,
guys
there
did
was
sinking
not-
in the ship.
tentacles.
You did not search for stuff.
As soon as we touched the blue box, all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
As soon as we did, we were like, I'm going to
So-
step onto the ship. There's 1,000,000 spiders here. They're attacking you.
And now we're
There
getting
was
to
literally no time to investigate it.
I can't help it if you guys don't look for stuff.
Maybe,
We just
maybe
found
if
what we
our
were looking
warlocks had
for too
not
quickly.
stopped dying.
Yeah, that would have helped.
Hey, I haven't died yet. I'm doing great. I've been like 2 combats, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're
You're
pretty
still
you're
only
pretty
at a
sure
third.
you're pretty sure that Tarn and the Red Crows made off pretty well with some stuff from the Abbey job.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that.
I don't want to talk about that.
That is the case of, I knew what the game expected you to do, and then there's the case of, well, no one with a good alignment is just going to leave these guys cooped up to die.
Yeah. No, I mean it played out appropriately, and there's not a whole lot of motivation to go into the Winding Way. Other
Right,
than
exactly.
other than
That
there's
was my
vast
problem.
riches. But
And
Yeah,
horrible
but anything called
traps.
the Winding Way?
yeah,
That doesn't sound friendly.
no, it wasn't friendly, but there's a lot of cool shit back there.
Oh, damn it.
That now the Red Crows have.
Yeah.
Kill the Red Crows.
You
could
could
kill the
you
Red
could
Crows.
you could.
I
Yep.
think the Red Crows are probably stronger than us now because they probably leveled up because they finished the Abbey job.
I don't want to talk about it. I told
They
you.
did
but-
level up.
Yeah, but didn't you fucking like murder one of them?
You did kill one of them at the Fight Club.
I mean,
The biggest one.
He bought insurance.
Yeah.
I did kill him.
You murdered him.
I
Really
almost did.
fast.
You stabbed him
Not
in the
exactly high
throat.
stakes, yeah.
Yeah, you stabbed him in the throat.
I mean, he smiled at me. Funny.
Such a
Sure.
nice guy,
Was
too.
super friendly.
He
Such
was
a
a
nice
very
guy.
nice guy.
He also showed up to an underground fight club ready to fight. So
Yep, he did.
forget that guy.
Shit happens when you're at Fight Club.
So that's right.
But I mean, we did.
Sometimes you
It's
punch
not like
out a
there
little
were
weird
any
dude.
rules.
Sometimes you get stabbed in the neck.
Yep.
A little bit A, a little bit B. Roll the dice.
It's not like they had an elaborate set of rules before we started.
No, they did not.
Well, we had rules, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I was laughing at.
Ay.
That was a fun session.
I love how we're like we're like the second string.
But the most famous second string ever.
Right?
We're like,
You
call
guys
the
are-
second string.
Providing really
Well,
good cover for the Red Crows.
Yeah.
Because everybody's focused on Rhunar Deg and the gang.
Early
Go
rally.
on.
That might not be good. I guess that might be a good time to leave Saltmarsh then,
Yeah.
if we're too visible. Maybe no, I don't know.
Well, you should have some good plot hooks to get you to other places beyond. By the time you,
That's-
take care of a couple of these things that you have to take care of.
Yeah.
I mean, I anticipate this could move to some other areas, obviously, with the information that was divulged in the journal so far.
Right.
I don't want to leave before we have a few more entries deciphered, just because I think. I mean, if we're then I feel like we're just leaving an entire area unfinished.
Right.
Right.
Well, and to Theo's credit, he understands that the region that journal is talking about is very dangerous.
Right. So maybe we don't go there.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking there. I was thinking Gradzul, but
Yeah. I
Not
was
without
thinking,
like a proper expedition.
because Rhunar really wants to know more about that, the group of the triangle group,
The elder
the
elemental
elemental
eye.
elemental
Yeah.
eye. Yeah.
Yeah. Theo is intrigued by the mystery of whatever the heck is happening here in town,
Yeah.
but he's not quite at enough to get killed over it.
Yeah, and see, my motivations, I think, as Byron would be, my last adventuring group was murdered and killed on a failed expedition that we weren't ready for, and hearing that one of my fellows is dead, all I can think is like, I wanna come back with a win this time.
With you on that.
I hear you.
With you on that.
Yeah, so if I'm totally cool with us torturing and dismembering Krebshenker in an attempt to find out who killed Aubric. I'm
Well-
not saying that we should do that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
think
I'm interested to.
We
Oh,
might need.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say we might need to try to figure out if he does actually know something, rather than just start torturing him.
Right.
yes.
For sure.
And
Well,
we
I mean,
do
I was
know.
saying,
like-
we need to make it clear that we're willing to go to lengths to find out, and if he is misleading us in any way, he will regret it.
And we do know that there is a good possibility that there are at least a small amount of possible Scarlet Brotherhood folk about, or
Yes,
were,
Brotherhood.
and it would be. I'm interested to find out what they're doing and to thwart them because they're dicks and I hate them.
Right, and
Theo is
honestly,
not really putting them down too.
the Seekers of the Arcane consider the Scarlet Brotherhood kind of like their rivals.
Well, at this, just so you guys kind of have a perspective timeline, so the Scarlet Brotherhood has only recently been revealed in some of the kingdoms around the continent. It's not like it's really prevalent in terms of like everybody knows who the Scarlet Brotherhood is.
Would I know as a Seeker?
You'd probably have some knowledge of them. Yep, I know Irin does for sure. I think Theo has some knowledge as well.
It's very passive, but out of character, I know they're real evil, and I'm okay with smiting them.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
I thought that
from like
I
a
thought
meta
they were just
perspective.
Brotherhood. I didn't even know they had the Scarlet before their name.
Yeah, they're a thing, but they're not well known at this point in the timeline of Orth.
Okay.
Most people wouldn't know what they are.
Right.
It's recently been revealed that they had infiltrated some of the I guess, elite households and some of the politicians' advisory councils and some of the kingdoms and viscountcies. How do you say that? Viscounts?
Viscounts.
Counties.
What is it? Viscountcy?
Viscounts.
It's essentially it's a version of county.
Yeah.
Because it's a viscount is a version of a count, so it'd be a viscounty.
So a viscounty. So some of the viscounties have been infiltrated. It just kind of depends. Like Iron Gate, where Irin is from, has had a lot of trouble with the Brotherhood recently, and they're known for being just really despicable, dealing in slavery, enslaving whole populations of people. They're nasty.
A-holes.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyhow, hopefully you guys are able to tie up some of these loose ends in Saltmarsh. That would be cool.
I feel like I have a lot of loose ends.
I was thinking the same thing. Like,
We are
Runar's
nothing
got
but
loose
loose
I'm
ends.
glad Farendir's dead, because if he was looking at all the jobs he had picked up and all the papers and everything that was going on, he'd be like, I don't even know where to start.
Right?
Runar's loose ends have loose ends.
Byron's only been here and he's only had one.
I got season 1 loose ends. Right?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you still have season 1 loose ends.
He was just like, I'm here to help, and money's great.
Well, if you have, just individually, if you guys have loose end questions or things that you want to discuss with me, just reach out to me in between sessions and we can talk about it.
Sure.
Sweet.
And
Dave, have you read all of the Oath journals?
Fuck no.
That's probably a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of
There
them.
are a lot.
I have.
Where are those?
I'm just like flipping through them and I like find a little bit of information left and right, and I'm like really impressed with how accurate you stay.
Well, the stuff that I have pulled from the existing lore, I'm trying to, stay as close as I can remember. I have a lot of notes. But this campaign can be as big or as small as you guys want to make it.
And I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
We could all die tomorrow, and then we'll do something else.
Yeah.
I will say, like, as a player, especially for my first time being in the Greyhawk setting, I am excited to see other parts of the world outside of Saltmarsh. As neat, but on the other hand, Saltmarsh is a really neat little setting and little town, so I also kind of love digging into it. So, gosh, I could go either way and be happy. I'm a terrible
Right.
person.
And like the idea of leaving Saltmarsh, to me, I love the idea of leaving it, but I don't want to leave it. Like, I've only just gotten here as Byron, and Byron needs to finish what he started. And Byron needs to kill the person who killed Albrecht. And maybe take his head back to Gradsul.
Oh god, if Theo ever ends up back in
Jar
grad
of
school,
lie.
it's gonna get weird.
Yeah, that's something that I will need some prep time for. Gradsul will be cool. But
Where is Gradzul anyway? Is
To the
that-
north. It's on the coast. North, a long ways north.
Oh, there it is. I see. Oh, Gradzul.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that map, that big map you sent.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking at that too. So you go by Sandachar, Raunus, Wave Rock, and Angler,
And then all that Amadio stuff is to the south.
and Split Rock and Red Shore.
Why did you
Yeah.
Why did you get all crazy?
It's kind of
Chad?
crazy how close Abbey Isle is to Saltmarsh. I always imagined it being so much farther away.
Well, that,
I mean,
that's
we
a-
rode. We did a rowboat there in 8 hours.
That's true.
It's
Abbey
a lot
Isle?
of rowing, but ultimately, that's not that far.
No. Well, and that was after a 6. So that was 6 hours to get to the
Oh wow,
lighthouse.
that is close. I didn't. Wow, it's so small.
I
it's
know.
we,
You had to pedal
It's
6
so
hours
small.
with Major Ursa to get to the lighthouse, and then it was another whatever it was to get to the actual.
It looks like
Abbey.
Engelberg is out in the middle of the water.
I mean, I don't know what's up with that.
It does, doesn't it? It might be a little
Or an
island.
island?
Angler Island, yeah.
Ah. Okay.
And so's Red Shore. Red Shore's on an island.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, Angler Island. It's a big world, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I love it.
Wow.
You guys need to get a boat.
Yeah.
We need to find
You need a ship.
We
a boat. We need to find fucking Korkoros.
we need to get a boat and just sail to this jungle place
I don't think that's a good idea.
with no information,
No, let's not do that.
just on a whim. We'll read
Yeah,
the
we'll
book
just
on the
sail
way.
past the hold of the Sea Princes.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, you should be able to travel through their realm, no problem.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
It's a terrible plan. It's a terrible plan.
I like that this map has like major sea routes on it.
Yeah, this map
That's
is
super
great.
helpful.
The sea
Except
routes
for
are
that
going
it
on
includes
the
hex sizes, and there are no fucking hexes on this map.
The sea routes are going in and out of the Sea Prince's territory.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pirates make money too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So are we set? Are we definitely following Kreb? Are we definitely
Definitely
Jeff,
following the Navy. Definitely talking to the Navy.
Yeah.
all right? And then we'll see. We'll threaten Kreb maybe.
And if we need to go smash something, we should go to the mine.
Then yes. Then we go to the mine afterwards.
Because we might need to just kill something at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can help them with an undead problem. No problem.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Fight a monster.
As long as it's not a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Don't put that out there.
Just
Don't.
do not. If you meet a vampire, do not engage.
I think we're well beyond that.
Yeah.
You're literally like 2 days beyond that.
Yeah.
If that,
Oh,
if
Lord.
that.
That's still pretty fresh.
Not even 48 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh God.
I never knew him, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they've told you about that, have they?
We haven't yet.
I haven't heard very much. I heard that they had a bard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
everyone
had.
gets really quiet and sad.
Yeah. We had a bard.
And Theo drinks.
It's
Wow.
need to know right now.
Need to know where to get more drink.
Yeah, Byron's coming into this like this is like a really good, famous, like adventuring party. But why am I the leader? Like they're just listening to me. They seem broken.
They're
What
just
happened?
We just desperately want to achieve something.
That's really where we are right now.
Well, we're going to. I'm gonna be a little more leadery next round, where I'm just gonna be like, Rhunar, Irin, break his fingers. I don't know if you feel comfortable.
That should be interesting. I just looked at everybody's alignments so I could get a feel for what might be possible.
Are we all neutral?
No.
Yeah, I am. Rhunar is.
I
Theo
am
is
too.
chaotic good.
Yes.
I remember. I gotta look.
I mean, you guys don't have to. Alignment is not a hard and fast thing with me at all, but you chose it.
Waffle neutral.
You chose it for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
no,
as long as you role play it appropriately, you can do, whatever.
that's why Theo's kind of okay with digging into this. Is he doesn't care about crime as long as no one gets hurt because he has no real use for authority.
Right.
Depending on what they're doing, that may become a problem. And then he's just as fine going, okay, new plan, we do kill them. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like myself. I feel like I would be more like, hey, is this going to be? First of all, is this going to be good for me? Second of all, is it going to be good for the people that I care about? Do laws come into play? No, not really. Does good or bad come into play? And I'm not going to go murder a village of people, but if the village of people is going to be, pissing in my cereal, then yeah, I'm going to murder a village of people.
Oh shit.
Yeah, bro.
Sounds like a great leader.
I mean, that's
Byron.
far closer to
Well,
my
I mean,
personal take, so that's okay.
I didn't mean it. I mean, don't take that literally. I was being a little extreme.
Oh no, too late. It's already been taken. Literally,
It's already
Oh,
canon.
No.
It's already
We're
canon.
doomed.
I'm a little broken after my last group died, so.
Oddly enough, we're a little bit broken after most of our group died too, and then mysteriously came back for no reason, and we have weird, haunting side effects.
Yeah.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Oh, there's definitely some personal problems going around.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like Irin and Rhunar, you guys are living with like this weird thing hanging over you.
Oh yeah.
And Theo, full disclosure, still doesn't entirely understand what he made a deal with and where he's getting some of his power.
That's
So,
true. I have
don't
that
make good
in the
decisions
back of my
first.
mind as well.
Yeah. So
Wait, what weird thing?
Warlock. Warlock weird.
Yeah,
well,
Warlock
like-
weird.
The way it like just for full out of character
Oh,
disclosure.
coming back from the dead.
Oh yeah, no, for you coming back from the dead. That's kind of important for things that have happened to you.
Yeah, that makes Rhunar a little haunted.
Is there a YouTube channel, or is there a YouTube thing of that?
Yep.
Oh, what? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Well, not all
Wait,
not all of those details were divulged on the YouTube. I don't think. I think we kept those kind of a secret.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, those I think were off the record.
Yep.
I like that.
But I mean,
I haven't seen Theo's.
Wait, I feel like I've watched
video
mine.
yet.
Yeah.
no,
I
the
watched
video
mine
is on there where you did battle with, you tried to save your brother,
Oh,
etc.
yeah.
But the details about the curse that you have going on
Oh,
is
right,
not
right,
on there. That's just between. That was just something I sent you afterwards.
Yeah. That's true.
Did you
But,
do a
Rhunar,
one-on-one set
Rhunar
for Theo?
actually told everybody about his though.
Yeah, because you brought out that book when you guys were at the Isle of Abbey.
Well, and I think oh, go
You
ahead.
guys all saw my notebook. Except Byron. Byron has no idea.
Yeah, I know nothing of it.
And
Byron
Irin
doesn't
mentioned
know about
what happened.
Rhunnar's crazy notebook.
Yeah, and Theo did not have a one-on-one because he wasn't here yet for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I lived through that, but Theo has a background, for the Hexblade Warlock that is it's a bit nebulous as to what exactly is going on. So he doesn't entirely understand of what's happening. He knows it works, and he's going with it because it's super useful.
And Theo's background was he a soldier?
He was a sailor.
A sailor. Okay.
He
so more like
has
merchant.
well, sailor, and he was drafted for at least one of his ship was at one point drafted for one of those fights between the Kalish Navy and the Sea Princess.
Okay.
Didn't end well for him. That's the experience that ended with him now being a warlock. At which point he's still a sailor, but he was that kind of guy you kept on a merchant vessel because in a tight spot, no one's sure how he's good at doing strange things to murder people trying to take over the vessel, but he's really good at killing people trying to take over the vessel.
Right.
So keep him around just in case.
Interesting.
Right on.
Oh, I like that. We all have naval backgrounds, though.
I do
Welcome
not,
to Saltmarsh.
Except for Irin.
except for Irin.
What is your background?
Guild artisan.
Oh, that's right. Yep, I knew that.
So I'm a master blacksmith in the guild, whatever that specifically means.
However,
Okay.
you've spent a substantial amount of time on the ocean traveling from Iron Gate.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, and my backstory has some sea travel.
So you know whether or not you get seasick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By now I don't. Nobody travels that far over water and no longer gets seasick, unless it's probably Mr. Bean probably would, but
So all of us are super handy when we're on a ship at minimum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a shipwright. That's my background.
I mean, and I make metal things. Oh, that's always handy.
I also have proficiency in navigator's tools and cartographer's tools on Theo.
Nice.
I have water vehicles
Me
and
too.
land vehicles.
I think I have water vehicles and carpentry tools, so I can fix a ship one time before it needs to be fully fixed in a harbor.
Patch a hole.
You guys need
Yeah,
a
I
ship?
can patch holes and stuff.
I feel like all of this is probably coming out off screen while they're drinking before, the job tonight. With like, oh yeah, I'm a sailor. Oh yeah, really? Oh, I didn't know how to work on ships. Really? What about you, Aaron? I'm a fucking
We
blacksmith.
could just be learning more about each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's part
I
of
like
it too.
this part of it, you know?
Yeah, having those
'Cause it helps-
conversations is key.
Right, it helps me gauge how I'm gonna proceed with my own intentions, you know?
Right.
Because if I have an idea, obviously some of this I don't know without talking to you about it, but your Hexblade, how you became a warlock, you probably didn't tell us all that.
Oh no, he has
No.
told no one about that, but he's super upfront about yeah, I'm a sailor. What about it?
Right, and just the discussion of what are we gonna do tomorrow? How are we gonna deal with this Cryo Chamber thing? I fully believe that Byron at this point would be like, Rhunar, you're famous in town. Everyone's scared of you because of how powerful you are. This Cryo Chamber guy doesn't have shit on you. Let's go get the information that he has. Let's take it from him.
You might be able to talk Rhunar into that.
So yeah, so that's definitely going to be part of next session because Byron's fully intending on doing that now. But
Theo
only
is-
after the Theo thing.
Yeah, and Theo's intent at the end of the day is he just wants to help solve this murder because there's something fucked up and he doesn't like the smell of it. If, he has to be a little shady for a while, he's okay with that. If you want to break fingers, okay. I'm not picky.